Everyone, remain calm.
Back for more, huh?
Oh, yeah. That's how it always starts. But then later there's running and screaming.
Somebody talk to me. What is happening?
Welcome to Jurassic World.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to the Jurassic Park Podcast.
How long is it going to take for that to spread around the globe?
This was all John Hammond's dream. Hold on to your butts.
Seriously? Well, we're back.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 200th episode of the Jurassic Park Podcast. I am your host, Brad Jost, and we're here to talk all things Jurassic Park. And I don't know if this sounds different for everybody out there listening, but we're doing things a little bit differently today for the 200th episode. We're not streaming this live or anything, but it is being recorded fully live from start to finish with a lot of people here. I don't know how this is going to work, so hopefully this is going right. I want to say 200 episodes has been incredible, and it's brought me to so many new places and introduced me to so many new people, some of which you're going to hear here today. We got as many people as we possibly could from the Jurassic Park Podcast to come on today and listen to some of your voicemails and answer some questions, because this is the week of the Jurassic Mailbag. So let's go ahead and start introducing some people. As always, we have our favorite mailbag correspondent, Jennifer Evans. Jennifer, what's going on?
Oh, that's weird.
I know, right? I got to get used to saying that, too. I'm sure you do as well, but that's...
I wasn't ready. I was like, wait, there's somebody else here?
So, yeah, I said we're doing things a lot differently. We're bringing everybody into the intro. So let's bring in Aaron Beyer. How's it going, Aaron?
I'm good. I'm a little nervous that this is actually like live, because then I can't say, hey, stop, and don't air that thing that I shouldn't have said.
Yeah, so let's cut you off and before you say anything wrong and introduce Jaye Jurassick. What's going on, dude?
What's up, guys? A little tired, but ready to do this. Let's see how it goes.
Who else is in here? Let's see. Let's bring in Tom Fishenden. You there, Tom?
I am. I had to unmute myself to avoid laughing, but I am definitely here. What's up?
I think there's going to be a lot of laughing. I'm going to have to control all of you guys here today somehow. So let's bring in my buddy Tal from Spain, I believe. You're in Spain today? If you're there,
Coming
unmute.
at you live from Barcelona right now.
There he is. You're
Pretty
traveling.
excited to be here.
He's traveling all around the world, and he's committed to the mailbag. That is awesome. So let's go ahead and welcome in Steve. I think you're there, right, Steve?
Yep, I'm here.
Oh, man. There's a lot of nerves here, hoping everybody answers the line. So we also have AJ. You there, man?
Yes, sir.
Oh, wow. Wow, this is awesome. And I know you might have your little girls there from the segment Jurassic Kids, but it might be a little sleepy for them right now.
Yeah, none of us are really used to being up this early, but we're all here and ready to go.
Awesome. And we have James Ronan. James, what's going on, dude?
Yeah, things are really good. Just really great to be part of the mailbag. Really
Yes.
looking forward to it.
This is incredible. All right, so far so good. Did I miss anybody? I don't think so. I think I got everybody there. This is crazy. This is hectic. I don't know what's happening, but we're doing the mailbag, so we're going to answer all of your calls. I'm only doing calls today. We got a ton of calls over the past month and the past week. A bunch of them in celebration of episode 200. So thank you very much, everybody, for reaching out. But just in case you want to be a part of the next mailbag, you can call our voicemail line at 732-825-7763. You can email us audio files or questions to JurassicParkPod@gmail.com, or you can head to our contact page at JurassicParkPodcast.com to fill out the contact form. Now, even though you haven't heard this month's episode just yet, we are already recording questions for the next mailbag. So I'm ready, guys. I'm going to skip over all the stuff like, hey, we got some business to take care of. Go to YouTube, do this thing, check out this thing, all that stuff. So why don't we go ahead and let me see if I can actually pull this off and jump in to the news segment. I'm going to fade out the music here, guys. Let's get into the news from around the world.
"18 minutes and your company catches up on 10 years of research."
Access main program. Access new security.
These pictures were taken in hospital in Costa Rica 48 hours ago.
I don't want to jump to any conclusions, but look.
Boy, do I hate being right all the time.
Today, I guarantee it.
All right, so far so good. We're in the news segment, and we got some fun stuff to talk about. So recently, Universal Studios announced a whole bunch of stuff. One of which was not announced, but they trademarked something pretty interesting called the Velocicoaster. Now, we know that there's a big, huge coaster coming to Universal Studios Islands of Adventure down in Orlando. And we know it's supposed to be rumored to be centered around Blue or Velociraptors or something like that. So Velocicoaster fits perfectly into that area there. So let's go ahead. Hey, AJ, man, what's going on? I want to know your thoughts on Velocicoaster.
That's a pretty cool name.
Does it sound like corny or hokey? I know you were recently down there in Orlando. It's a little hokey.
Yeah, we were down there in January, and they were starting to get working on a lot of stuff, but they hadn't taken down anything yet. Of course, every single time I go to Universal Orlando, the Jurassic Park ride is closed.
Oh no!
I haven't been on that since I was in middle school.
Yeah.
But I'm excited for any new roller coaster.
Yeah, I mean, as far as excitement goes, Velocicoaster sounds like a fun, exciting ride. I'm looking forward to it outside of the fact that they had to demolish a whole bunch of stuff to get there. But let's see. Who else is here? Jay, what do you think about Velocicoaster? I know you're a Raptor fan, right?
Yes, I am. I don't know. I'm not a big coaster fan, so the name itself, I like how they put that together, but I don't know what to really expect. But then again, I haven't been to Universal Orlando since 2003. It's been a long time.
Well, that's good. Would this, opening up a brand new coaster entice you to actually head back down there?
Oh, definitely. I've been wanting to go down there, just the opportunity hasn't showed up yet. So something new down there will probably, definitely get me back down there.
So in somewhat more your neck of the woods, Jen, they out in Hershey Park, it's not very much near you, but it's out that direction. They introduced a new coaster that's coming up next year called Candemonium. So it seems like right now we're getting all these weird, I don't know, comical names like Velocicoaster, Candemonium, all this fun stuff. Are you excited? I know you're a huge theme park person.
Candemonium? I never even heard of that. Well, I'm only 20 minutes from Hershey now, and I know nothing about Hershey. So
wow, you guys got to go all the time. That's going to be fun. That. Yeah. Look it up. It looks like it's going to be a full new section, a new entrance to the park, and a huge new ride. So that looks fun. But what do you think about Velocicoaster?
As far as the theme parks go, I like theme parks more than I like thrill parks. So roller coasters aren't a big thing for me. Mm-hmm. And what I dislike most about this new coaster is that it kills the lagoon view. I know we've talked about the lagoon view, so there's not much about this coaster that I could like. The name is it's the name.
Sure.
And it ruined my lagoon, and I'm not big into coasters anyway. And I wish they would have just put the new land in the new park and put the coaster over there. Because having a Jurassic World coaster in Jurassic Park basically confirms we're never getting a Jurassic World land.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. I found it very interesting that they trademarked Velocicoaster and not Jurassic World, Owen and Blue's epic jungle adventure. Something like that. So it seems to be Velocicoaster, which gives me hope, I feel like, for the future. They're not necessarily centering it on Jurassic World, but at the same time, they did just announce Epic Universe, which is their third. Well, we'll say third, even though they say it's their fourth, counting Volcano Bay. but Epic Universe was just announced as another new theme park for Universal. And it should have 4 themed lands, highly themed lands. Jurassic was not included on that list, as far as we know. It looks like there's going to be Fantastic Beasts, How to Train Your Dragon, Universal Monsters, and Nintendo. But Tal, I know you recently went down to Orlando and documented everything down there. What do you think about Jurassic being left off the table here for Epic Universe?
Well, I'm a big believer that the more Jurassic anything we get is a good thing, as long as we're getting stuff. But I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm not a huge roller coaster guy, but I've been going there my whole life since I was a kid, like to Orlando, specifically to the Islands of Adventure part. And it's been a while since I think a coaster has come out that's really maybe even challenged the Hulk. So if it's anything like that, it could be pretty cool to see if this could be like the new top contender for kids or even adults that are going to Universal to be like, oh, wow, this is like the top of the line roller coaster that we need to ride. Yeah. Now, Aaron, I know we've talked a lot about this new potential theme park. And we've kind of been letting everybody know that this is probably not happening for a while now. Are you surprised, or did you expect it to not be there, or were you hoping at the last minute that Jurassic would be thrown in there?
What, that it's not at the new theme park?
Yeah.
No, I'm not surprised because Universal hates Jurassic Park. Like, that's just like, I don't get it. They don't care for it. Honestly, I'm almost wondering if someone with some pull was like, why are we going to be building a new land when we barely utilize the one we have? Because I think, aside from the lagoon view, which I agree, it stinks that's going to kind of be destroyed. I don't think a view is a reason for like a theme park executive to, because like that's basically like a photo op, and like I don't even know if they even have like a photo. Does Universal do the photo stops like Disney does?
Yes, every now and then.
So every now and then, like I don't know if they utilize it. I don't know if like, because when I lived there, I didn't go through the front gate of that park very often. I usually had like backstage entrances, so like I was never coming into the park where like those people would grab you and take your photo. I think it's weird that it's not at all part of the new land, especially when you consider like Universal Monsters feels like Universal Studios already has that and it's not even that great. And then on top of that, the monster, like the Dark Universe franchise for them completely tanked, and I don't see that. I don't see the way the movie landscape is right now, I don't see that being popular. So I think that's kind of their next dead land, unfortunately. I don't know. See, for me, I feel like How to Train Your Dragon is now. Putting this. Go ahead. Think about like Dr. Seuss. Like I don't think Dr. Seuss is nearly as popular as How to Train Your Dragon with kids today. Very true. I think kids are gonna love that. I think that's a reason to take little kids to that, because Universal Monsters isn't a reason to take little kids. No, but in 2023, 2024, this franchise is dead at this point. It just aired its final film. So where does it go from there in another few years? Like How to Train Your Dragon, you're talking about Universal Monsters. At least if they frame it as like a classic series, that might have some staying power. Nintendo, of course, has staying power. Fantastic Beasts is the other question, I think, but Harry Potter is pretty good as far as staying power, so you don't necessarily have to tie it. I don't get Fantastic Beasts. Like for me, I mean, maybe I'm just jaded on that series, but like I didn't think the first Fantastic Beasts was good at all. I didn't even bother to go see the second one, and let's move over to our second piece of news here. I don't have the dinosaur audio thing. Whoops, I forgot that. Roar! There's the transition. Wait, can I just interject one thing about the coaster real quick? Yeah, go ahead. All right, so there's a ride at Cedar Point or Canada Wonderland. I'm not sure, but there's actually like coasters now where you straddle things like motorbikes. Oh, well, there's one down in Orlando already. Oh, never mind. Which is weird because, they just opened Hagrid's where, there's a sidecar and a motorcycle, and that coaster would literally be right next to this new coaster. So will they have two motorcycles? I don't know. That just seems a little weird to me, but it's possible. It's possible. But, we're talking about new things that are coming out in theaters. Hobbs Shaw did come out. All right. And as we were kind of led to believe for a very long time now,
Battle at Big Rock, this new short that we got word about back at Toy Fair, was supposed to be before this movie. But I went to go see the movie, and there was no short. There was no Jurassic short. There was a bunch of trailers for other things, and then the movie itself. I had fun with the movie, but there was something missing, something called Battle at Big Rock. So, Steve, I don't know if you're a Fast and Furious fan or not, but knowing that Battle at Big Rock is not there, are you less inclined to go see this movie?
Well, I haven't seen the last couple of films that have come out.
Yeah.
I actually stopped watching after, I think Tokyo Drift was the last one I saw.
Oh, man, you got to catch up, man. There's some good stuff in there. There's some fun stuff, dude.
Yeah, but I mean, if they had promised and aired the Big Rock short, then I definitely would be booking a ticket to go see this film. But
sure.
You said that, yeah, I don't think I'll be going to see the film.
So, James, I got a question. James, I got a question for you. Do you think it would be more imperative for Universal to air something like Battle at Big Rock before maybe a lesser-known franchise other than Hobbs and Shaw, which is probably bound to make nearly $1 billion, if not well over? Do you think it would have been more beneficial to air it, on something like, I think Josh joked about Cats. I don't know, is that a Universal movie, I guess? But something that might not bring people to the theaters. What do you think, James?
I don't know, really. Like, I was sort of thinking, obviously with Hobbs and Shaw, obviously it's quite a big sort of franchise. I was sort of thinking for the next, I suppose, big film, you're thinking sort of Star Wars, and I'm sort of thinking, well, maybe they might do a deal with, I don't know, with Lucasfilm to sort of maybe attach it for then. But
yeah, I don't know. I feel like as far as bringing out new people, like Hobbs and Shaw and Jurassic kind of share some overlap there. Not 100%, but there's a decent overlap of fans. I don't know. I would feel like you might want to bring it out to a movie that might not make as much money. Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe bringing it out for Hobbs and Shaw would have, propelled more people to see Jurassic. I have no idea what's going on. Tom, what do you think about all this? I know you're out there in the UK loving Hobbs and Shaw, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Look, there's a lot of the British characters in there. You never know.
Yeah, there is. We're all just bald people who run around doing super spy stuff.
That's exactly what I imagined from you, Tom. I don't know much about you. Yeah,
computer chair guy. But no, yeah, I feel like it's really, really weird in terms of the way it's being handled. I think the most important thing to really say about it is at the moment we have absolutely no idea what's going to happen with it. I know there's been a little bit of speculation about maybe it being a pilot for TV series or things like that, but I don't think that this was ever intended to be that. From everything we kind of know about it and we've been able to garner about it, which is very, very little, to be fair, it was always intended to just be kind of a short in-universe thing that is set after Fallen Kingdom but explores some stuff to keep people invested in the franchise between the films. And to be honest with you, I feel like they've kind of really missed the best creative window to release that now, because obviously you've got Camp Cretaceous coming out next year, which is going to be an animated show on Netflix and is going to keep people invested in the franchise through that. So really this should have kind of been that flagship piece of content to engage people throughout 2019. And I think that while, perhaps releasing it in front of Hobbs and Shaw may not have been the best bet because it's a different audience in some regards, I think that being able to put that content in front of so many people would have been really beneficial for continuing Jurassic's brand identity. You could have even done a thing where you drop it in front of the film and then a couple of months later you release it on the YouTube channel, because they've got the YouTube channel which they did quite a bit of content for quite a while, or you do a limited edition box set which includes it. There were lots of avenues to do it, but I just feel like not having it now is very weird when we literally have the toys from the short.
Yeah, that is a weird thing. Yeah, I'm looking at the slate.
Can I ask a question on that really quick?
Sure, go ahead.
I know Pixar does shorts, but is shorts a thing you do in front of live action movies? Because I wonder if they kind of had that idea, they were going to do it, and then they just got cold feet on it because it's not a normal thing that you do. And maybe they watched it all together and they thought, okay, this sounded like a good idea in theory. And then when we watched it together, it really was weird and it's not normally what you do. So is there normally shorts in front of live action ever?
Well,
I've never seen it.
I have seen actually extended shorts in front of live action when it comes to like Christopher Nolan used to do it back with like the Dark Knight stuff. He would release like maybe 15 minutes of the next movie that he's making in IMAX only. So it was very specific as to where it would show up. I personally don't think I've seen anything like you're talking about, Jen, where it's like a live action short in front of a live action movie or whatever. You're right, though. It does seem to be Pixar, Disney movies. So looking at the Universal slate, we have something called Good Boys, The Hunt, Abominable, Last Christmas, Queen and Slim, Black Christmas, Cats, and 1917 as far as this year is concerned. So maybe Abominable, but like I feel like if you're going to air it in front of like a kid's cartoon animated thing, I don't think Jurassic is the right fit for that. What do you think, Jen? Do you think they should air it in front of an animated feature or no?
I think they missed the boat on this Hobbs and Shaw movie because it's not... I think it's very much what Jurassic is. It's an action movie. It's fun. It's kind of campy, and that's kind of where Jurassic is at the point. That's what people see it as anyway, like the general audience. It's in their theme park IPs. It's up there with money making with Jurassic. It's their second highest grossing franchise. It makes sense to put it with something like Jurassic because I feel like the same audiences were going because you said you went and I saw a lot of other people in the fandom go, so it seems the right lane for them. So that was a missed opportunity, and I do think they might have got cold feet on it because it's not something that's done normally. And they pulled it last minute, and now they're like, crap, we don't know what to do with it. And I don't agree with Josh. Cats is a very strange not the same audience. Doesn't even
I feel like he was probably mostly joking about like them because of the backlash that movie received when it released a trailer, that they're like, well, we need to pull them into the theater somehow because otherwise it's going to be a flop. So maybe we get all these Jurassic fans out there to watch Cats. It might
I don't think that would do it.
I don't know. Tal, what do you think? Where did this go? What happened here? Will we see this ever again? I don't think so.
I really have no idea. I was listening to The Wire on my flight on the way to Europe. What you and Aaron were throwing around ideas, and I'm so confused. I figured that they would surprise us and end up putting it in front of Hobbs and Shaw. Like, I'm not a Fast and Furious fan at all. I've only seen Tokyo Drift, and I totally would have gone to see it if I knew that the short would be in front of it. So I really don't know. I have no idea. I know that adding that Nasutoceratops is going to be like a big key to the franchise. I think having that extra dinosaur might be really interesting for certain things like the Stegoceratops that we know of, the hybrid that we have in the film, because we know that that's part of it. And so I think it's crucial that they add it in before the next movie. I just have no idea when. I don't know what they're going to do with it.
Sure. So AJ, what do you think about these toys? Like the fact that these toys were put out on the shelves here in the U.S. They did feature the Battle at Big Rock badge on the box. Out in other territories, they did not have that on there. So what do you make of these toys? Are they like an anomaly now, or will we actually see them tie in later on?
They might be. I don't know. With the whole short, I feel like people are going to complain no matter what movie they put it in front of, because anyone who's not a Jurassic fan is like, well, I don't want to see this. And then you'll have a bunch of Jurassic fans and they're leaving after the short because they don't want to see the movie.
Yeah.
Which is all they care about because they got the money from it. But I don't know. I feel like they're going to have to find a different way to put it out, different platform or something, because people are going to complain no matter what. But as far as the toys, I don't know if it was just Mattel jumping the gun or something else. 'Cause it's interesting.
Yeah, it is really interesting. I don't understand what happened there, but who knows? You know, maybe there's going to be some more questions about Universal theme parks and Battle at Big Rock. So before we get too deep, obviously we've gotten pretty deep already, but let's go ahead and get into our next segment here with the mailbag. I'm going to go ahead and fade this out, and we'll jump into the mailbag.
18 minutes in your company.
Whoop. There's my first mess up. Hey, going back.
Jurassic Mailbag.
Jurassic Mailbag never fails. It makes me wag my dino tails. And Brad and Jen, your Jurassic Mail.
It's Jurassic Mailbag with Brad Jost and Jennifer Tarek.
So this feels funny to do like an intro right here in like this wide assortment of intros that I've already done so far. But guys, the Jurassic Mailbag is back again for the month of August in 2019. And Jen, I know I say this each and every time, but like it's August. Like, what happened here? How did we get to August already? You're already married. What's going on? There's so much happening.
I was excited to hear the theme because we don't get to hear it. It doesn't pump us up whenever we do it. And so to actually hear it, I'm ready. I feel like I'm really in the mailbag. I've climbed in it, and it's August, and it's almost fall. It's football season. Oh, ready.
Oh no, it's August. I don't know, man. I don't know what's happening here, but we're going to do this. We have a lot of voicemails, so I don't know how long all of you can stick around for or how long this is going to go, but we got like 20 voicemails here. That's a lot. And now maybe some of them are very short and just saying like, hey, congratulations or something like that. I skimmed a little bit here and there just to see. But we got a lot to get through, and we have everybody else here. You guys already heard everybody. So let's go ahead and dive into our first voicemail here. This is from somebody that is involved in the franchise themselves. So let's go ahead and take a listen.
Oh, hello. Oh, well, I just want to say congratulations to Jennifer Evans for your wonderful wedding that I happened to miss last month. And I show you my deepest apologies. But I wish you all the best of luck in the world, and the future looks bright for you. And there's only one thing left to say. Life will find a way.
Oh, that's epic.
That was pretty epic. How would you have felt if just James showed up dressed as John Hammond to your wedding, and everybody else is in like suits and dresses, and James just walks in with like full white outfit on with a cane and a hat, and just like did that accent the entire wedding? Would that have been cool?
I'm very disappointed it didn't happen now. Very disappointed. We got to redo the whole thing.
No, let's go back. Going back. We're going to do it all again. Take two. James, thank you very much for that. We do have another one. James did want to follow up because he couldn't be here today. There are a few contributors who did not make it onto the show today, so James is one of them. So James wanted to follow up here with an actual message, so let's take a listen.
Hey guys, it's James Hawkins from Jurassic Unicast. How you doing? Sorry I couldn't make it onto the 200th episode. I managed to double book myself, and something I couldn't really get out of.
Come on.
But I just want to wish the episode and the podcast and everybody that's involved, especially Brad obviously, the happy 200th episode. It's been a journey. It's been a pleasure. And obviously wish and hope for many, many more. And it just goes on and on and on until Brad gets sick of it and decides to retire through physical exhaustion from having no time to do anything else. But yeah, also I'd like to wish my congrats to Jen, obviously, because the last time we spoke was probably before she got married, I think. Yeah, we haven't actually spoke since, so congratulations. And yeah, hopefully Steve and I will manage to get some more pop quizzes done, hopefully for the channel. We have got some guests lined up that we're hoping to get hold of once things get sorted, once we've stopped being so busy our end, and get back to it, because we do miss doing our segments. And yeah, only one thing left to say: life will find a way. See you later.
Oh, thank you.
So Tom, when I get sick and tired and overworked, you're the youngest one here, I think, right? Are you going to take everything over?
I mean,
that's a no, I guess.
Can I just run away at this point? My chicken goujons are out the oven. Bye, guys. It's been fun. You guys know what chicken goujons are, right?
Hey, man, no, I have no idea what that means.
No, the chickens are running away, or I don't know.
Yeah, basically, yeah, sure.
Sure, okay, yeah. Here's the keys, man. Steve had to duck out for a second, I see, but I was gonna ask him to like talk badly about James since they're like, you know, best friends basically. So I was gonna be like, hey, Steve, say something negative about James and why he wasn't here. Come on, man. But James, you got off the hook there. Steve is not here at the moment. I think he's coming back, but we'll see. But let's move on here to our next one. This comes from Victoria. Hey, Victoria, what's going on?
Hi, Brad. This is Victoria. I wanted to congratulate the Jurassic Park Podcast on 200 episodes. Wow. That is quite an accomplishment for what is still the finest Jurassic podcast on the interwebs. Thank you for the hard work and dedication you put into the show and for making it so accessible to its listeners. Here's to the next 200.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Next 200? Get out of here, Victoria. What are you talking about? That's a lot. I don't know. That's a lot. Jen, are we going to go another 200 or like at least, I don't know how many more mailbags that is, but that's quite a lot of mailbags.
Brad, we're going to be in an old age home doing these.
Oh, no.
Well, you know it's going to happen. You know you're going to be doing this the rest of forever. Can't escape it now.
I just want to point out that's 50 more mailbags.
Is it more? 50 more?
It's 50 more.
I was going to say 50, but I was like, oh, no, that's, yeah.
I mean, I'm no math expert, but I think it's 50 more.
And you know what that means, Aaron? That's 50 more wires that we have to do.
Bring it. I have so many things to complain about.
I think 50 mailbags is doable.
It does. That sounds way more doable than 200 more episodes.
Yeah, 200 more mailbags though. That's
out of control. I mean, I'm sure people would listen, but maybe they would get sick of it. Another 2-hour episode. Come on, like I don't know.
We'll be in the 5-hour range by then. It just keeps growing.
Yeah, but I mean, Victoria's got a great podcast as well with Collect Jurassic World, talking all about Jurassic stuff. So. I love listening to their new show. So I think the more Jurassic podcasts, the better. So it's been like a fun past 4 years now, like doing this podcast, seeing others come and go, mostly come because there's been so many more podcasts over the past few years. It's been awesome to see. Like it's still not hitting the levels of Star Wars or anything like that. We're not getting like, hundreds of podcasts like Star Wars community has, but it still feels pretty cool to see all these other shows popping up and excelling and doing really well. So that's awesome. So thank you, Victoria, for calling in. And let's go here to our next one. This one comes from Chris.
Hello, my name is Chris. I've been a fan for like a month now. I've been watching everything from the beginning as well as all your new stuff too. Again, great stuff. I love it a lot. Anyway, I had a question. What is one thing you're looking forward to in Jurassic World 3 other than the iconic legendary characters returning, the OGs? I'm pretty interested in that. Also, congratulations on the 200th episode. That's literally way past cool. And, I just want to have a shout out to you, Brad, and Jennifer and Tom, and everyone who's ever been involved with this podcast and everyone who ever will be. Just thank you so much for doing this. Like, it really means a lot to me because, I've been looking for something in the community that's like really interactive and involves us all. And this really just brings everything together, and you guys just do such a great job. Thanks again, and have a good day.
Thanks, dude. Thank you, Chris. That's awesome to hear. I'm so glad that it helps bring people together and just meet new people and do all that stuff, because that's what it's done for me. So I'm glad it's done the same for others. I kind of never would have imagined that, at all. That's awesome. But Jen, he did ask a question in there. As far as Jurassic World 3 is concerned, what are you looking forward to the most outside of maybe some characters getting together?
Well, I gotta say that's such a sweet message. That was a very, very nice message. I have to say that too. But outside, okay, I'm not going to do a clear answer because I'm tired of that. So let me just say, in general, I'm very excited to see where we're going to end and where they're going to stop it, and actually what's happened in the last 3 years, because they time jump with us, and I'm really curious to see where we're going to pick up and where we're going to end. I think because I guess this will be the end of the trilogy. I know Colin recently said, well, I don't know, but we kind of know it's the end of the trilogy. So I wonder where it's going to end. And I know we've talked about a couple scenarios and all of that, but I'm really curious when I'll be sitting in that theater in the last act and thinking, did I expect this to go this way? Was I surprised? Am I pleasantly surprised, or am I disappointed? Like, I'm really curious to see where we're going to end.
Yeah. Hey, Jay, I got a question for you. He also mentioned the fact that, he's a new listener from like the past month, but he's going back and listening to all this old stuff. And I know you're a pretty, you go like way back as far as the podcast is concerned. So when you hear people say that, do you ever like kind of curl up and be like, oh gosh? Cause I know I do when I think about people listening to like my old segments and old episodes. Do you ever have that feeling, or are you like, whatever, man, it's all good?
No, because I think back a while back, I was like throwing out Amber Fine episodes like here and there all the time. So I'm like, that's good. He's going back, because then you get to hear those and then be like, whatever happened to those? Because I haven't done too many of them in like the last year or whatnot. But no, it's cool to hear those. Remember, like I told you when I think it was like the segment that I was on the first time.
Uh-huh.
And then I was like, yeah, dude, I'm listening to all the past ones, and you did the same thing. You're like, oh man, I'm sorry you're listening to the first ones. Like, but it's cool to hear how it progresses and what it is now. And like, it's cool to hear all those guests that you had back in the day, and all the segments that started up, and what it's turned into at this point,
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, so, I do think that's pretty cool, because it has certainly changed a lot. It's a lot different, and hopefully we get some more Amber Fines coming up here, man. That would be awesome.
Yeah, I got some a couple of good ones backlogged, and of course I'm doing the collectors segment as well. With the hunters and gatherers. So that one is another one I want to keep pushing out too. Yeah,
so AJ, I want to ask you about this Jurassic World 3 question. What are you most looking forward to when it comes to this upcoming movie here?
That's tough. Because I really have no idea what direction it's going.
Yeah, none of us. It's crazy.
Since the last movie, and where are we in the timeline, and what's going on? So I'm excited to see how it starts, what the intro sequence is, because that was the best part of Fallen Kingdom, was the intro sequence, and I'm excited to see where this one starts.
Yeah, that's a fair point, because like Fallen Kingdom's intro was crazy. I mean, other movies have certainly had that like kind of Indiana Jones-esque, where it has this like little adventure moment and then it gets back into the movie. Like the movie officially starts maybe 5 or 10 minutes in. So I'm excited to see like what happens, what kind of new thing. Maybe, hey, are they just going to take Battle at Big Rock and just put it at the beginning of Jurassic World 3? Who knows? But Tal, I know you're looking forward to this movie. So what do you think are you most looking forward to here?
I think after Colin's recent tweet that he said that was going to be a celebration of everything in the franchise, like that has made me extra super excited, because I'm like, if they're going to give us this fan service the whole movie for the last movie, for at least might be like the last Jurassic movie for a while, I'm totally okay with that. I'm excited to see if there's going to be any crossover between the old characters and the new characters, like the crossover between Alan Grant and Owen Grady. I can't even imagine the craziness that would ensue between the two characters. I think that would be hilarious. And especially if they give us when it comes to the dinosaurs, just like, collaborations between the old and the new would be really, really, really cool. So I'm just super excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, I feel like that's like the number one concern is what happens here. Like we have no idea, and I feel like we talk about this every week. So I guess in the beginning of the year, sometime next year, we'll get some information as far as what's going on. But Steve, I just noticed you popped back into the chat here. We played some clips which you just missed from your buddy James Hawkins, and I was gonna say, like, where's James? What's going on here, Steve? That's the most pressing question.
Yeah, I left that chat on purpose because I didn't want to even speak. No, he's chosen his beloved football / soccer over this chat, and I think it's quite rude.
That's very fair. It is quite rude. Come on, James. What are you looking forward to?
If he was on here, we wouldn't get a word in anyway.
That is very fair. That is very fair. Yeah, and he would be just like doing his impressions the entire time. He'd go down the list. You'd get Hammond, you'd get Roland, you'd get Muldoon, you'd get a Ray Arnold in there. So yeah.
I suppose if you got it, you got to flaunt it.
So yeah, what are you most looking forward to in Jurassic World 3?
I would say more interaction with humans, really, like in the Lost World, the San Diego scene, which I know is quite unpopular with most people. It's probably one of my favorite scenes out of all of the films, because you get to see like the scale of dinosaurs in real life, and it's something that not any other films really you can see. So I'm hoping that there's going to be more interaction with, towns, cities, villages, or anything like that.
Yeah, that would be awesome, because everything is always so contained, and I do like that idea of things being out, amongst other things like neighborhoods or cities or whatever it may be. That'll be awesome. But let's go ahead and move on here to our next one. So that came from Chris. Thank you so much, Chris. We really appreciate all the kind words. Let's move on here to another one from Clinton.
Hey, my name's Clinton. This is a question for my theory about the new show, Camp Cretaceous.
Ooh.
And I'm a new fan of your podcast, and I was wondering if you would like to hear my theory. And I think the theory is that the show, the time is in the early stages of Jurassic World, where they have to capture all the dinosaurs and then build the park. Also, I would like to think what you guys think about this theory, and that's it. Goodbye.
Awesome. Yeah, Jen, what do you think of Camp Cretaceous? I know we have some information that it probably won't go that direction of what Clinton is saying there, but as far as the press release was concerned, it kind of felt like we were going to be tying this into the downfall of Jurassic World. And we might have talked about this at one point, but Jen, do you think it would be more beneficial to have it back at the beginning, like he's saying there, like when they're starting up the park, capturing the dinosaurs, doing all that stuff?
At this point, I'll take anything, any in between I can get. So I'm excited. I would be excited about his theory being capturing the dinosaurs before Jurassic World, and I'm excited about possibly being in the aftermath of Jurassic World, because anything we can get in those in between moments that they skip, I will gladly take it. So I missed the press release, because the last time that we discussed this, I don't think it was out yet. We were just looking at the little cover art thing there, and we were just speculating on that. So I didn't get to the press release, but if it's about what happens after Jurassic World, I'm excited for that. Anything in between, I'm down for.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of vague at the moment, but it seemed like it was going to be within the timeline of Jurassic World, like the movie. So I really hope that there's more to it. Aaron, what do you think? Do you want there to be more to this? Do you want it to be before? Do you want it to be after or during? I don't know how much you can get out of during. That's like a few episodes, right?
Well, I think they've kind of already said, and this is like, Clint, I think your theory I think your theory is actually a fun idea. I don't know if it's where Camp Cretaceous is going to go, because they've kind of said it takes place. They said like during the time of Jurassic World, right? Like,
that's as far as I remember. Yeah.
But I've been pretty outspoken. Like, I personally don't see a reason to do a prequel before Jurassic Park. I don't think there's anything, not that there's nothing important or interesting. I don't think there's anything fun that happens before Jurassic Park necessarily, but I think there's a lot of fun that could happen to the lead up of Jurassic World. And so, yes, like, I think a show or a movie that is essentially the roundup and the capture and the building of Jurassic World. I think that's way more fun than we could ever get out of anything before Jurassic Park. So I'm excited for an idea like that. I hope we do get something like that. I hope that's something that maybe comes out maybe after the trilogy. They go back a little bit for one movie, like a one-off, like Rogue One or like Solo, and maybe we learn, maybe we visually and audibly see what happens to Site B, and how Jurassic World kind of combines the best islands of the original franchise, or I mean, not the best islands, the only two islands that we really know about. So again, I don't think that theory is necessarily going to pan out for you, but I think it's a great idea, and it's something that I'm definitely interested in seeing. I hope we get it.
Sure. Hey Jay, I know you're a very artistic guy. You do a lot of art on your own, and I wonder what is the best art style that you would see for this. What would reflect the best? Would it be something before where they're trying to capture these dinosaurs? Would it be something like during, where you get to see Jurassic World in its pristine shape, or after with like a downfall? What would you rather like tackle as an artist?
Personally, I think I would like to see kind of the Jurassic World actually working. I know we saw a little bit in the movie, and as much as like we saw some of the rides working, some other stuff, but I would actually like to see those kids, if this takes place during Jurassic World, fully operational and before its downfall, I'd like to see in the series the kids actually going on the rides, actually attending lots of the events that are going on in Jurassic World, explore the park, the Jurassic World as a whole. Like I know there's rides that we saw, like a glimpse of like the river ride, and we saw the apatosaurs on the river, and some other dinosaurs you never got to see in the movie at the moment. I know we saw like so many thrown into Fallen Kingdom, and it'd be great to see a little more of those dinosaurs explored in that show. But as animation wise or style, I don't know. Like, I guess it depends on the audience we're aiming for, or they're aiming for. From like the little art that we saw, it's kind of very stylized, which I guess I'm okay with. I have to see it, because we've never had an animation like this before, and we've had like animations that were canceled, and we've seen their animation styles. Like I think the one for Jurassic Park was very 90s comic book style, and then the one that we had for like Lost World that was like revealed not too long ago, that one was like all over the place. That one was crazy. It was concept that concept art. Yeah, but I feel like I don't know really how I feel about the animation till I actually see it, I guess. It just feels like Jurassic Park has always been live world, like live action, real actors and CGI dinosaurs, and this one's going towards that Pixar, or like I guess what's the other like animation, like DreamWorks? Yeah.
DreamWorks? Well, DreamWorks, right?
Yeah, it is DreamWorks, but yeah, it definitely has that like vibe where it's very natural, but like definitely stylized as far as like the characters are concerned, and the dinosaur, at least so far, seems very natural. It looks like it could be a counterpart from the film.
Yeah, we saw that raptor. That raptor looks very real. There, you can see there's like a stylized animation on it, like a cover on it. Like you can put a real raptor from the movie and then that raptor, and you can see the difference, like when you really look at them. But it looks very real. So when we have these characters that you saw in like the drawing or the picture that they have for like the Camp Cretaceous, I don't know how it's. In my mind, it just looks weird, like having that real life looking raptor and then these kids that look very stylized. So, until I see it, then I guess I'll accept it and be like, oh, it works. Or I'll be like, oh, that does not work for me. But it all depends until it actually comes out.
Yeah. Hey, AJ. I know, in your household, this will probably be a pretty big thing. Are you and your family like really looking forward to this Camp Cretaceous show?
Yeah, totally. I am super pumped for this, and just because of that, even that little teaser we got. But it seems like it's going to be the perfect show for the age the girls are right now, because they're out of that little kid movie phase and sort of starting to get onto more of the adult teenage themes with the shows that they're watching. And that seems like that's what this is going to be, with that centered around that group of teenagers. So I think this is like the perfect type of show for them right now. And they both just told me, even though they don't really want to talk right now because they're tired, that they're excited for it.
That's awesome. I think once this show comes out, I'm actually really excited to hear their viewpoint, because we're all a bunch of adults here and we can tell what we want to hear this whole time. But I am really excited to hear what kids are thinking about this show and how it's connecting with their audience. They're the people that they're designing this show for. So I'm really excited to hear what your daughters are thinking about this eventually. Once they wake up.
We'll have to record some review talk about it after.
Yes, that would be fantastic. Let's move on here to our next one. This one comes from our buddy Stephen Ray Morris.
Hey, it's Stephen Ray Morris from the See Jurassic Right podcast here. First of all, congratulations on 200 episodes. Holy
thanks.
Moly. That is incredible, I'm sure. I wanted to call because I wanted to pose a question to everybody, two questions. One we did in our latest mini-sode, which is, do you think Muldoon was good at his job? I mean, he was, the game warden, and he, seemed to know some stuff about raptors, but, do you think he was a good boss? I mean, really, where do those socks take us? I don't know. The other question I had was, I had this thought, what if we had to swap out the original 7 dinosaurs from Jurassic Park with other dinosaurs? So if you had to switch out a T-Rex for a different predator, Triceratops for a different herbivore, Brachiosaurus for a different, what would you swap out your 7, the 7 original dinosaurs, what would you swap them out with? I'm really curious to know everyone's answers. I'm curious to know your answer, Brad. Again, congratulations on 200 episodes. Life finds a way on all that good stuff. I'll see you around.
Dang, man. Thank you so much. That means a lot coming from you. Somebody who's like a pro at podcasting. That definitely means a lot. That's awesome. And Jen.
Oh, man. I was like, I'm sweating here because I'm thinking I don't want to be first on this one.
You're going to be first. It doesn't matter. We'll go with the Muldoon question first. Was he good at his job?
I'm beginning to doubt this because we get a lot of questions about him. And I think way back in the start, if you listen to our earlier ones, I'm like, yeah, he was great, blah, blah, blah. And now everyone's kind of asking that question. It's evolving a little bit. We're still getting that question. I'm starting to doubt his credibility now. We're at this point where I don't think so. Was he even a really employee? Did he just stumble upon there? I'm not sure.
He just walked over and told everybody that they need locks in the doors, and then just nobody's like, that's why nobody listened to him, of course, obviously.
See, that's it. We figured out the whole thing now.
That was it. Hey, Steve, we'll stick with this Muldoon question. We'll get to the other one after this, but Steve, I know you're a huge Muldoon fan, right? Like, what do you think? Was he good at his job?
Now, he is a brilliant character in a film, and I mean, anyone who can pull off those dunes is 10 out of 10 in my eyes. But
sure.
Was he good at his job? No, absolutely not. Everything he did was just completely wrong. From segregating these raptors into a tiny enclosure was his first mistake anyway. And, even from the start, the way he loaded the raptors in, just in a forklift coming through the trees, it's just, everything just seemed completely wrong. I mean, you take how Owen Grady interacted with these raptors, he fed them from up high individually.
Yeah.
And, he was in control. Whereas Muldoon, these raptors were fed by a cow on a crane, and it's rubbish. It's pointless. It should have been fired, to be honest. I think Nedry would have done a better job.
Yeah, I think you bring up a good point about Owen doing things a lot better. Tom, what do you think? Do you think what is his name? Muldoon was good at his job, or are you more in line with Steve there?
So, as I literally just said in our chat, clearly he has not played Jurassic World Evolution and does not know how to make a proper paddock. But beyond that, I find it interesting because I think that there's two different stances that you can really take with his character. So you can say, yes, he was good at his job because he clearly emphasizes the fact that these creatures are dangerous. He says that they should all be destroyed, which, James, if you're listening, I'm sorry, I can't do the impression. I know you're going to hate me right now. And he really does try to actually get Hammond to think about these as dangerous creatures and not theme park attractions, essentially. But in that very, very same argument, you can say, well, he never goes far enough to make his opinion heard or to actually action anything he says. So he's really there just kind of, yes, with the right intentions and with the right morals around the situation. But I don't really think that he ever shows enough of a backbone to actually get anything done around the park. And so ultimately, because, we see he notices these issues, he says that there's issues, he doesn't action them, and so ultimately those issues get him killed. And I kind of think that quite nicely summarizes how his character, although he is aware of these things and aware of the correct protocols, he doesn't do enough to really initiate them as part of the park as a whole.
Yeah, Aaron, are you kind of astonished by his lack of competency here?
I didn't know this was a thing. I didn't know people ever the whole point of Jurassic is that Jurassic has the best of the best of the best. And so, yeah, I think he excelled at his job. It's just that the whole point of the movie is that no matter, you can have the best of anyone and everything, and life is unpredictable. And so I think, yeah, of course, I think he was the best. I honestly think he was in charge of, I think he was probably in charge of the unit over on Sorna that was delivering, if we retroactively canonically go back and consider Sorna part of the first movie, I think he was the head guy of both islands. So to ever doubt his abilities, especially after working in Kenya for however long it was he did, I think he was great. I just think that there were, powers above him that, just completely wiped out the island. I mean, look, there was two other raptors in that pen that he managed to get in there, and then we're seeing the one that kind of almost gets out. Yeah, I'm totally astounded that this is even a controversy. If you're not pro Muldoon, I don't know, maybe get out.
Yeah. AJ, Muldoon, good at his job or no? What do you think?
I'm with Aaron. I always thought he was good at his job. I think he was a little underinformed about what he was dealing with. But as far as his expertise, he knew what he was doing. It was a different time at the time. The safety standards weren't exactly the same as they are today. So that's how you explain the intro scene. But I think he was good.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I kind of never viewed it that way either. For at least for the longest time, that he was bad at his job. So I kind of get what you guys are saying. I always thought that he was, really good at his job, and just people never listened to him. But I will say, as I've watched the movies over and over again, I have seen little things here and there that I'm like, well, how are you good at your job if this is what's happening?
Yeah, but his job was dino wrangling and animal if you Dennis Nedry was great at his job. Dennis Nedry was the best in his industry at the time, and that doesn't mean that just because he's the bad guy and ends up turning on everyone doesn't make him less good at it. Honestly, it makes him even more fantastic at his job because he hid all of his tracks in lines of code that no one could understand.
Sure. Yeah, I think that's different though, because if it wasn't storming and it wasn't like a terrible day and he didn't crash his car, that's outside of his job. Like on his resume, it doesn't say driving a Jeep through a tropical storm or whatever. So that's not part of his job description. But Muldoon, he's like kind of like the hunter guy. He's like, he knows all about tracking these animals, doing all this stuff. And if that's part of his job in his resume, why is he getting bested by this raptor over here? He should know. He knows that they're hunting from all these different directions. Grant knows it, for Christ's sakes. Like, why is Muldoon getting bested by these raptors? And I understand the job aspects as far as like the vehicle doors, people not listening to him, as far as all these other concerns are. Like that's easily explainable just because people didn't listen to him. So James, what do you think? Do you think he was any good at it at his job?
I don't think he was good at his job. I think the thing with Jurassic is just like, for me, it all goes back to like the novel. If you look at the novel, all the characters are completely flawed. Like you take sort of Ray Arnold, he's really jaded and just sort of really sort of over the whole theme park thing. And I think like if you look at all the characters, especially in the films, like Hammond keeps saying spared no expense, but actually they're not one for the details. Whereas Malcolm's like pointing out, you didn't actually think this all the way through. And that's what I really love about the films, is because actually they're maybe good at their job in terms of like, Robert Muldoon spent loads of time in Kenya with, dangerous animals, but these are animals from the past that they know nothing about. And Ellie puts that point across in the film. And when you think about it like that, they weren't prepared at all. Like you look at the Velociraptor sequence at the start, Robert Muldoon was completely unprepared for that entire situation with the way Joffrey died. So for me, I just don't think he was good at his job.
Yeah, I can't deny that. Let's see, Jay, what do you think? Do you think he was good at his job?
I personally don't think anybody really knew what they were getting into. James basically said exactly what I was thinking. And, they're taking animals from a different time that just don't exist in our world. We can compare them to some animals that we have now, but we really don't know. We just have their bones. We studied their environments, but at the same time, we really don't know at the end of the day what these things coming into our world, how would they react? And Grant said it perfectly when he says that quote, dinosaurs and man brought back together. What can we possibly expect? And that the results is what Jurassic Park is. And when we get to Jurassic World, we have InGen that has had these animals for, what was it, like 20 something years already? They got Jurassic World started in like 2005. Well, there's a good amount, like 10 years or something, that they had these animals already. They had time to study and see how they would react. So bringing in somebody like Owen Grady, he knows what he's kind of expecting. When you brought in Muldoon, he's only hung out with lions and leopards and cheetahs. Now we put in a lion with a raptor, like especially the big one, and you're gonna see a complete difference of like hunting strategy and how vicious that raptor is gonna be against that lion. It could be a good fight, but I don't know. I feel like he was good at what he did in Kenya, but when he went into Jurassic Park, it was a different ballpark, different game for him. He did what he could do. So I'm not trying to really say like, wow, he sucked at his job, but I feel like he didn't know what to expect. And I don't think anybody there really knew what they were dealing with.
Yeah. I love that this movie tells a story that these people had no clue what they were dealing with. Nothing at all, like none whatsoever. But these few people that just so happen to travel to the island this day, they know everything. Like they obviously are brought there because they're experts, but they are experts beyond anybody else involved in that park. And they know all the flaws and details that these other people don't. So we're going back around the horn here. And Jen, I know you were afraid maybe to get to this question before, but what do you think about switching out all the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park? Do you have a set of dinosaurs that you would have rather seen, or anything like that?
Okay, I'm prepared now. I had time to think about it. And by prepared, I mean I'm totally gonna like sideline the question by asking another question and avoiding it. So but this is a good question. It's relevant. So I was thinking, was like the Brachiosaurus or Triceratops, T-Rex the popular dinosaurs of choice before Jurassic Park, and they put the popular dinosaurs in the movie? Or did Jurassic Park make those dinosaurs the popular dinosaurs?
I mean, I guess you would have to kind of look at what was popular in pop culture, maybe, and novels and stuff like that. But I would say, like, if you look at like The Land Before Time, what dinosaurs were in that? Were you a fan of The Land Before Time?
Oh yeah, I grew up with that one.
I mean, we have a T-Rex in there. We have I don't know what is Littlefoot.
You have
a
bunch of things. Yeah, okay. Well, then my sidelining just ruined everything. I have no other dinosaurs. Don't ask me.
Well, there's certainly ones in there that were unexpected. You know, I don't think anybody would have seen a Dilophosaurus coming or stuff like that. But all the other ones I feel like are just standard, right? Like, and all of my dinosaur books always talked about, you know, Brachiosaurus, and you know, you always saw them in the old artwork and stuff like that, always like going through big lagoons and stuff like that. So that is straight out of Jurassic Park. Like, they actually just pretty much copied and pasted all this old artwork into the movie.
Who's the original person to be like, we're just gonna take these dinosaurs out of all the dinosaurs ever, we're gonna put these ones in our illustrations, and we're gonna write these ones in our books, and we're gonna put these ones in our movies? And they just totally, like, it's really interesting to think about that somebody chose those out of that giant encyclopedia of dinosaurs, and they became like the staple standards.
Sure, yeah. I mean, if they had chose anything else, we would have been talking about all those, you know.
Yeah,
and
so
instead of
that one person or group of people influenced generations of dinosaur people.
Yeah, it's really awesome. It really totally changed the landscape, and of course, you know, changed the way we look at real dinosaurs, because these are not real, they're not natural, they're something different, and these are the concepts that we always think about. Do you have, let me ask you, do you have one dinosaur you would have liked to have seen instead of one of the ones? If you could take out the T-Rex.
This is hard, because they did the Carnotaurus, and they did a lot already, and if you're just looking off of Brachiosaurus, well then another long neck, or just like another dinosaur in general, because they all kind of took one from each type generally. Sure. Like the size and the type, and the even the armored ones, like you have one of everything, I think. Yeah, if I took another one, it would just be in the same lane as those, really.
I know that first scene really wouldn't work without the Brachiosaurus, I don't think, right? Like, even if something as grand as like the T-Rex was in that first opening scene, you know, like when Grant's just falling down in the field and all that, like, would a T-Rex have had that emotional weight as a Brachiosaurus would have? Would an Apatosaurus, another long neck? I just don't know if it would have had that same, you know, impact. Maybe like, you know, something that is essentially a Brachiosaurus but just a different name would have worked, but I don't know if it would have worked as well.
It's hard to pick different dinosaurs, even for different scenes, like you said, because, I mean, they were picked probably for a reason. I mean, he needed a big, tall, overwhelming dinosaur for that one, and the T-Rex is a strong carnivore, and I don't even know what else you would pick. I mean, if we're replacing scenes, like, that's impossible, but just to add a dinosaur in, it seems like they picked one from every group, so I don't really know, and I obviously don't know enough about dinosaurs to really help with that otherwise.
So Steve, what do you think? Do you have a list of dinosaurs? Do you have 7 dinosaurs that you would have liked to seen swapped out?
Right, so I started typing, and I was like, right, T-Rex, I wouldn't have mind changing it for, say, like a pair of Allosauruses.
Okay.
And then I thought, right, okay, I'll go on to the Velociraptors. And then I got stuck. And I was trying to think in my head, like, the way the film goes, the dinosaurs fit perfectly. And like you were saying, that opening shot with the Brachiosaurus, no other dinosaur other than, you know, something as big and a long neck, it, you know, wouldn't have that same impact. So
yeah,
trying to find 7 dinosaurs that replace the, you know, it's too tough.
That is very tough. I think he said that this is going to be on an episode of See Jurassic, right? Tom, do you have an episode or an episode? Do you have a list of dinosaurs, or are you just going to listen to his episode and see what everybody else says?
Boy, the power of Google is all I am saying. Because thank you for taking your time with that, because I've been sat here frantically Googling different dinosaurs that I thought were real, but wasn't quite sure of. Hey, there were no rules outlined, you know? Steve, just to clarify, my pop quiz did not involve Google at all. Just want to make that clear moving forward. But yes, so Brachiosaur was quite an easy one for me because I went to Dinosaurs in the Wild. Obviously, we went to Dinosaurs in the Wild, Jen. And that experience introduces the Alamosaurus. When you go back in time, you see this massive sauropod with lots of kind of sharp protrusions coming out its neck and its back, which was really, really cool. So I was instantly like, just replace the Brachie with the Allosaurus. It's got similar presence. It's got quite a cool design, in my opinion. Then for the Parasaurolophus, I would replace it with an Edmontosaurus, just because there is one of them at London's Natural History Museum. And as well as that, I really, really fell in love with that dinosaur in Jurassic World Evolution. So Parasaurolophus, Edmontosaurus, again, filling very, very similar roles there. For the T-Rex, I would go with a Giganotosaurus, just because the television show that I always bang on about, Primeval, one of the best dinosaur shows ever, really made me fall in love with the Giganotosaurus. There's a sequence there where it gets like trapped in an aircraft, and it's a really, really cool dinosaur to see in action. So I could see that being quite intimidating. For the Triceratops, I would actually replace it with something a little bit smaller, but which I think would still fit the theme because it is a ceratopsian, and that would be the Styracosaurus. Just because I really like the crest of that dinosaur and how unique it is. And I think it would still fit the scene well, but it's also a little bit different. So it would add a little bit more variety to the lineup there as well. For the Gallimimus, again, being very, very lazy, I would just go with the Struthiomimus. Again, you know, one of the first dinosaurs you get in Jurassic World Evolution. And I think it's really, really cool. For the Velociraptors, I would go with the Deinonychus, because I know there's a lot of argument around which ones they're actually based upon. I think it's believed now currently that they're based upon Utah Raptors, but the ones in the film are believed to be more accurate to Deinonychus or something like that. Again, it would just fit that similar role. And then the last thing that I really, really changed, mainly because living in Kent, the dinosaur was found here, and I'm a big fanboy because it was found like 20 minutes from where I live. I would change the Dilophosaurus for an Iguanodon, and I would change that sequence in the nighttime where Nedry is out. So instead of him getting spat on with venom, he maybe gets clawed across the face or the abdomen, and he's like bleeding out. It's quite vicious, similar to the novel, trying to crawl back and get to his Jeep while he's got all these lacerations on his body, and then he ultimately gets killed. I could see that being really, really cool and a nice way of reimagining that sequence as well. So yeah, that's my 7, and I feel like I just went super geeky. So on to the next person.
you killed it. Aaron, do you have a list of dinosaurs that you'd like to see
Good
instead?
luck following that one.
So I don't really have a list. I mean, I guess there's maybe some that I could easily swap out. I'm kind of with Jen. I feel like if I'm going to swap out, like I'm willing to swap out T-Rex, because here's what Jurassic Park accomplishes, right? Jurassic Park is like this melding of, it's taking kids fantasy and it's bringing it to the level of what adult like paleontologists already know, or like adult people that are into dinosaurs like already know. And so I think for me, when Jurassic Park came out, I want to say I was like in 3rd or 4th grade, and it took these very fantastical creatures like T-Rex, which we're always used to seeing like upright on its legs, and kind of these big lumbering like idiot reptiles, and it makes them fast and scary and really real. And so I think when you're introducing all these new ideas to the general public, like dinosaurs are really birds, and they were fast and they walked more like linear to the ground rather than like upright on their legs. I think you have to have something that grounds you, just like in a superhero movie. You really need to have like an element of something that ties back to a human, right? Like even Guardians in the Marvel universe, Guardians centers around an Earth human to kind of give an audience that familiarity. And so I think if you would have taken T-Rex and switched it out for a Gigantosaurus, or if you would have taken Triceratops and switched it out for Styracosaurus, and really Velociraptor wasn't really known all that well amongst the general audience until Jurassic Park came out. And even though the Velociraptor is the size of, like, let's say a Deinonychus, the word Velociraptor is much scarier than Deinonychus. And I think switching out the Brachiosaurus for Crichton's original Apatosaurus, I think the build of that animal is much more majestic, because its front legs are a lot longer. So like it kind of like has that ability to appear as if it's like kind of puffing out its chest, and it's got an easier ability to stand up on its hind legs. And so I think the team on the original film did a great job of kind of choosing which dinosaurs to put in the movies. I will say, like, I guess if I've got to swap things out, maybe Triceratops for Stegosaurus, not because that's the original scene from the book, but because I just particularly like Stegosaurus over Triceratops. And I mean, as much as I love the Gallimimus, I think I would have loved to have seen that stampede sequence be a little more like Jurassic Park 3, where it's multiple species living in a herd and not just Gallimimus. So maybe that would have been a perfect scene to bring back the Parasaurolophus. But I don't think the movie would have done as well had you not had as many common dinosaurs in there, because you're already introducing new things like Velociraptor and Dilophosaurus. And yeah, I don't know. That's a weird answer maybe, but I think that's where I stand on it.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that's fair. Who else we got here? Let's see. We got James, or no? Let's go to AJ first. He's in the line here, so we'll go AJ and then James.
All right. So for this one, I ran downstairs in my collection and started looking at the toys.
You're like, please don't get to me yet. Please don't get to me yet.
I ended up with more than 7, but for the bigger carnivores, I was thinking either the Albertosaurus or go Carnotaurus as a more prominent role, like the book. That would have been pretty cool. Not as big, but still formidable in a different way a little bit. Triceratops, I would switch out with Stegosaurus. Also partly because of the book, but
yeah.
One thing that the main reason I love The Lost World so much is because it took all of my favorite dinosaurs and made them a bigger role. Like the Stegosaurus was in Lost World. The Parasaurolophus had a bigger role. I absolutely loved that one in there. And then the Pachycephalosaur was my favorite one. So then,
yeah.
As far as the Gallimimus, I think you could have done something more similar to what they did in JP3 and have a couple different species in there. So like a smaller Styracosaurus, and maybe that's where you put the Parasaurolophus in a more prominent role. And then I'm looking at these toys, and here's one that we haven't seen in any movie yet, the Proceratosaurus.
That would have been awesome.
Carnivore. That could have replaced the Velociraptor, maybe. I don't know anything about the actual intelligence or anything on the dinosaur itself. But then swap out Dilophosaurus for Monolophosaurus, because it's essentially the same thing, just a little different. And like you guys were saying, a lot of them, obviously you can't switch out because they're iconic. But
sure, yeah.
Brachiosaurus more than any. But if you had to swap it out, I grabbed my little mini Diplodocus, because I feel like that's the closest we've got.
Yeah. I know. I don't have any of the mini Brachiosaurus, so I have like whatever that the Diplodocus or Apatosaurus, whatever that one is, and I have its neck positioned as high up as it can possibly go, just to replicate the Brachiosaurus.
Yep.
James, what do you think? Do you have a full list here?
I think so. Yeah, it's excuse me. It's really difficult. Like, you know, obviously with the Jurassic Park dinosaurs are so iconic.
Yeah.
I mean, for Brachiosaurus, I would really up the scale and bring in the Argentinosaurus, which is just huge. And for T-Rex, I'd change it probably to a Carcharodontosaurus. I have to admit, I really sort of Dryosaurus in Jurassic Park Operation Genesis had a big impact on me playing that game. So I was like, well, Gallimimus, I think I'll swap that for a Dryosaurus. I think for Parasaurolophus, remove that and put a Muttaburrasaurus in. Dilophosaurus, remove that and put an Ornitholestes in from the novel. And then Pachyrhinosaurus for the Triceratops.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, and the Velociraptor obviously was sort of a difficult one. Obviously, with the Dromaeosaurs, there's like quite a lot of them. And I just thought Utahraptors sort of the size range there is around about the same. So I thought that one.
Sure. I think all these lists are pretty interesting. I love hearing like the crossover that we all seem to have or don't at all. And Jay, do you have anything that kind of crosses over, or do you got a fresh list here?
I'm gonna, I guess, ruin this whole asking of lists of dinosaurs. Honestly, like, I think when I saw Jurassic Park, the only new dinosaurs to me were the Dilophosaur. And that's it. Like, even before that, I a lot of these dinosaurs were my favorite. Of course, T-Rex was my favorite, was one of like the first dinosaurs that like I was like, oh, that's amazing. This huge predator was like walking around and everything. But the thing really, I can't see myself replacing them with any other dinosaurs. And if we replace like a Triceratops, Styracosaurus, Tilceratopsian, if we replace this other dinosaur, like it's too similar.
Sure.
If anything, there was one thing that I could say when I was a kid that I wanted from Jurassic Park when I saw it. It was a lot of the Kenner toys that came out, that of some species and dinosaurs that were never in the movie. And some of them weren't dinosaurs. Some of them were just prehistoric reptiles. Like I always wanted to see a Dimetrodon. And
yeah.
I don't know about replacing one of the main dinosaurs in the movie for that, but it'd be cool to see a Dimetrodon. I remember having the Coelophysis little toys. And I was like, those would have been cool to see in the movie too. So there's species that like I got as a kid with the Kenner toys that I was like, oh man, why didn't they have this in the movie? And I guess, you can't jump all those dinosaurs, especially in the first movie, but it wasn't like when I saw Jurassic Park, these dinosaurs weren't really known to me. I would say like the T-Rex was a big favorite of mine.
Sure.
Velociraptor was known to me, but it wasn't it was weird when I saw it in the movie and I was like, wait, aren't they like really small? So that was a big change. So it's a tough question, but I honestly have to say, I know everybody has a list and they prepare lists and their whole name and stuff. And I'm just like the one like, no, I'm good. I'm good with the originals. I don't know.
Well, it's very hard to beat the originals. And I was laughing at when you were answering because I was imagining like you just chose like the Coelophysis to replace the Brachiosaurus. Like they drive up and then they literally get to look at like a few Coelophysis on the ground. And they're like, you did it. You made dinosaurs.
Like, you would just see like the trees and just like a crane just roll in, and then the crane goes all the way up, and you see little tiny Coelophysis at the top just grab an insect off the leaf.
I like John Hammond made this huge presentation. Like he drove everybody out to the middle of this field, and then literally like a mile away near the water, you see like 4 Coelophysis drinking, and Grant's like, what am I looking at? I don't see anything. This field, look. And
or like a pair of binoculars.
Or like the Dimetrodons replace the raptors. Like that'd be pretty awesome. I like the ideas, but I'll give you my list, Stephen. This is a very me answer. I don't know if anybody else will pick up on it or not, but I would go with the Carnotaurus. I would also go with the Styracosaurus. I think, everybody kept saying Styracosaurus. I was like, oh man, that was certainly something I had on my list right away. I'm also going to go with the Iguanodon. I'm going to go with
getting the ride.
Shh, Jen, you're spoiling my answers. I'm going Compsognathus.
Somebody had to do it.
I'm going Alioramus, the Saltosaurus, and some sort of pterodactyl type creature. So yes, I went with Dinosaur the Ride.
And sauropod.
Yep. So that was my answer. I figured why not go with what you know, and I'd like to see Dinosaur the Ride.
I'm very surprised they didn't do some kind of flying reptile in the first movie. I think that going back to what I was saying about all these dinosaurs being familiar to people, I think just like you, I don't think you can replace the T-Rex with really anything, because I think kids would be disappointed in going to a movie about dinosaurs that didn't have T-Rex. But like in the same sentiment, I was disappointed as a kid that there was nothing flying. I mean, were they birds or were there like actual small flying ones in the opening sequence, like by the pond or whatever?
I think it was just birds. Yeah.
It was just birds. So it just was really weird to me that they didn't have like something flying in that first movie.
That's why like the ending of The Lost World is so awesome, because you get to see all of these things that you love so much all combined in one area, and you get the flying, you get the Stegosaurus, you get the multiple, like a family set of T-Rex. That was why I love that scene so much. But yeah, I think it's a tough question, and I'm excited to hear what other people are saying on his podcast. But yeah, let's move on to the next one. So thank you so much, Mr. Stephen Ray Morris. That was a question that made us last nearly 30 minutes or so. So let's move on here to the next one. This one comes from Amy.
Hi, Jurassic Park Podcast. It is Amy.
What's up?
I know it's been a minute since I've called, but I just wanted to wish everyone a happy 200th episode. You guys are awesome with Jurassic Mailbag and just contributing to the Jurassic Park fandom. I mean, I absolutely love listening to you. So thank you so much. And again, happy 200. I guess today I'm calling about toys. I know that Mattel and other brands like Lego, and just kind of following the podcast lately, there have been a lot of awesome contributions to the toys being released for Jurassic World. We've come a long way, and I think that even with like the tiniest details, they've been pretty good with it and improving on it. So I guess my question, if you guys, are the collectors of the toys, or just is interested, like what would you be interested in seeing? Like what toys would you guys like to see that would be even more better, or even pays more homage to Jurassic World and Jurassic Park? Like what is something that just could really make that perfect like toy for the franchise that has not been released yet? Or what would you improve if you already think it's pretty perfect, but it could be a little bit more perfect if it's already out there? For myself, I'm not really sure at this point, honestly. I think they could do like an animatronic robotic Jurassic Park dinosaur, because I love all the figurines, especially the ones that have been newly released recently in the last couple months. But honestly, I'm on the creative side, I'm not really sure what they could do other than like robotic toys, like genuine robotic toys. All right. Well, that is my question for the day. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day, and catch you on the podcast. Bye.
Thanks, Amy. Thank you so much. And I like your question, because we're always talking about the toys, and especially after San Diego Comic-Con, we have a decent idea as far as like what is coming in the future here. But Jen, I know you're not necessarily a huge toy person, but if there was like one thing that would get you to buy anything, I guess whether it's dinosaur or humans or play sets, is there something out there that would get you to buy it right away?
Yeah, I actually have two answers here. Really thinking, because I'm like, well, outside of the dinosaur, like something that I really would want to buy, there's two things. One is something from Jurassic World Claire, like the white stuff, like the white outfit. She's not represented in anything, and that's way more iconic than anything in Fallen Kingdom. So something like a Jurassic World Legacy collection, just so I can get something in original Claire. And then number 2 is something like, I don't know, not a dollhouse, but like a play set of the different sets, like the lab, and then the innovation center, and like the just every big set piece, kind of like in a play set. Like, I don't know if Polly Pocket maybe sense, but bigger than that, and like it opens up like a dollhouse kind of thing, and you could play with the different areas. I know that they kind of touched on that. I don't know if they actually released anything, but I do remember seeing something or someone talking about something like that, but it was such on a small scale and nothing like how I'm thinking. But anything that encompasses like an entire set piece in a play set, I think that would be so cool. Because I remember from one of my birthdays, like when I was 3 or 2 or 4, I don't know, I had a dinosaur cake, and it had like the little cages and everything on it. And I remember that the set, like the play set of something, was so cool. And we don't really get things like that, like a full, cool, a million pieces. Like the Legos, I guess, is the closest you would get to that, but they're still Legos. You still have to build it. It's not like a dollhouse kind of thing. So it's probably really expensive to make. That's why. But I would really love something like that.
Yeah, back in the old days, we had all kinds of play sets, whether it was like the Technodrome from Ninja Turtles. There's always the Discovery Center or whatever from Jurassic Park. One of my favorite things was the Barbie Playhouse or whatever it was. My sister owned it. Okay, so this is my sister's toy. It was a giant, like 3 foot tall Barbie house, 3 foot long.
That's what I'm
even.
Thinking about my cousin had that.
Yeah, and it was like 3 separate segments that you would put all together. And we used that as the hideout or the visitor center for all my Jurassic Park toys, and dinosaurs would always attack it. So I know Mattel covers all this stuff. Like when I went to Toy Fair and walked around Mattel's area, they had their giant Barbie play sets out there. So why can't we just get something like that? It doesn't even have to be too involved. I would just love to see like something giant like that we could just throw our toys in, and it's lightly themed even. It would be fine, I think. But something giant that we can really play around with these things, I think that would be perfect. So it's funny because like while you're not necessarily in the toy demographic, Jen, you're not really covering it as much as a lot of others are. You just nailed it. You hit it right on the head there. That's exactly what I think a lot of people are looking for. So AJ, I know you've got a lot to say here. And first off, I wanted to ask you, I know Amy mentioned about the robotic dinosaurs and stuff like that. And now I don't know if you got a chance to open that Alpha Training Blue, but did you get a chance yet or no?
No.
Oh no.
I don't know. I've been so busy working so much and just still haven't gotten around to it. I'd like to review it when I do it, so that's
sure
part of the reason I haven't gotten to it. And
I got you, dude.
I've had that thing for so long. I still haven't opened it. It's anticipation at this point.
Yeah. Do you have anything else though that you would like to see? Maybe even another animatronic or other things in the toy line?
Well, we're all going to go broke, but I am still obsessed with all things JP Explorer. So give me that Explorer first and foremost. And I know you've been saying it's probably coming, hopefully, with the next movie, and I can only hope. Yes. And then, Jen, what you said with Jurassic World Claire, absolutely. Mm-hmm. I would buy a couple of those. With this whole new 17 species that Mattel's dropping, a lot. I haven't looked too closely at the list or the picture to see which things are what, but the few things like the Sarcosuchus that Aaron and you were talking about last week and the Postosuchus, stuff like that I've seen in the Jurassic World Alive game on the mobile game. Those would be cool ones to add. Those would be good repaints for Mattel to do of the ones they already have. The ones from the games like Alive.
Yeah, I think Jurassic World Alive always gets overlooked. There is a lot of really good stuff in there, and certainly some like really crazy, creatures that you can like build together and stuff. I would be interesting. Do you think it? I would at least be interested to see if like they kind of tackle that hybrid, aspect ever again. Like Hasbro did at the end of their run.
That's one thing I probably wouldn't be too keen on collecting, just because there's so much other stuff that's so good that's just something we don't really need, in my opinion.
Yeah. Aaron, I know you're a big toy guy, so what do you think? We might have even talked about this already in the last episode, but any quick thoughts on what you'd like to see?
Unlike what I'd like to see. Well, so for me, it's more about scale than anything. So like, and honestly, like even like less impressive things. I would love the ability to buy like a bucket of compies, like Army Man style, where like maybe you buy a bucket for $15 and you get like 20 non-posable, non-movable, just one color mold, like green compies that maybe come in like a few different like molded poses, but like on like a little base that you could kind of stand up and you could kind of herd. I really dig that like we're getting, is it Microceratops or Microceratus or something? In some of these, they're not battle damage, they're like breakout damage or something figures. And then I would love a Triceratops that I would actually just love more herbivores. And I don't think we get too many because I don't know if they sell as well, but I would love more herbivores that are to scale. So like, for instance, like I think the Stegosaurus is a great figure in the Mattel line, but I think that the Triceratops, and I know like AJ like disagrees, but I think the Triceratops is probably the weakest figure they have. And to some point, like the Sinoceratops is that they even gave us, one, it's like the wrong mold, and two, it's not the right size for any dinosaur that it semi represents. I would actually love to see them amp up the size so that the T-Rex figures and the Spinosaur figures and the Indominus figures aren't like, I mean, yeah, they're like kind of the queens of like the island, but it's because they're giant carnivores. We have giant herbivores that easily could give them a run for their money. And I feel like toy wise, we don't really have too many herbivores that would go up against them real well. I mean, look, if you would have asked me this last year, I would have said, I need a Brachiosaur toy, but apparently it's coming and we're going to get more. But yeah, I would love, compies, just more herding style dinosaurs and herbivores that are in scale. Like, as much as I love the Gallimimus figures this time around, they're completely the wrong scale. Like when you are driving around in Jurassic World Evolution in the Jeep, the Gallimimus is like taller than the Jeep. And they were big in the original movie. Like twice the size of Alan and the kids running through that field. So for me, it's more about scale as like compared to their need to fill like a package and price point size. Mm-hmm. That's what I would love. And then of course, humans and cars and buildings and all that stuff, that to me, that goes without saying. I don't think we're getting enough of that. And then just keep surprising us, like with that giant alligator thing that I was listening back to The Wire the other day, and I was like, I was as excited listening about that alligator figure as I was talking about it for 20 minutes. So that's all I really got to say, because I talk about toys all the time.
Tom, do you have anything you want to see?
I literally just clicked to turn my video on instead of my audio. So we're off to a good start here. Wow, I really kind of agree with what Aaron was saying. I think a lot more in the way of vehicles and kind of human characters would be really, really cool. And I think that Brad, actually, you sum it up very nicely in the review of the Ultimate Baryonyx playset set.
Oh, come on,
which is a review that everybody needs to watch, where basically you're talking about the bike and you say how this is kind of more the sort of stuff we want to see.
Sure, yeah.
It's stuff that we're not necessarily... You thought I was going to go somewhere else.
I did. I thought you were like had your audio clip ready to go. You were going to hit play and Yeah, but no.
No. So yeah, I think like that kind of attitude where it's things that we're not expecting, but which are really, really beneficial. I mean, obviously, anyone who follows me will know that I do a lot of toy photography. So for me, I find a lot of value in sets that don't just give us dinosaurs. They give us accessories, they give us vehicles, they give us scenery pieces. So things like that would be really, really cool to see. And I think that baryonyx set, although it does a lot of things right and a lot of things wrong, it's got the right kind of principles behind it, where it's finding creative new ways to really give us the best of both worlds and give us humans, give us dinosaurs. I mean, I know it's something that Chris Likes Dinos has always been pushing for, which is to give us dinosaurs packed in with humans, because it would make a lot more sense to shift both those units. So I hope that maybe they do that. And equally, where we get things like branding for, say, dino rivals, I want to see them go more down that rabbit hole. Don't just give us this title and then leave it as cards and on the app. I mean, how cool would it be if one of their big sets, for example, was like a battle arena where you get a bit of fencing, a medium-sized herbivore, a medium-sized carnivore, as like this massive play set. I know, obviously, we're talking about price brackets, and the way that the toy industry works today is a lot different to how it used to work. But I think things like that, especially if you've got things like the app inclusivity there, would be really, really cool to see. And I do just want to sum up quickly by saying I did really appreciate, Brad, how when you were talking about what you wanted to see, you started by saying back in the old days. That was beautiful.
What are you trying to say there? You know?
I just, wanted to throw that out there.
All right, youngin', you and your youth mentality. It's fine. Fine. Thank you, Amy. You know what? I skipped over. I wanted to get Jay's thoughts, actually. Jay, what do you think? I have like Jaye Jurassick as like the go-to toy guy. So what are you thinking about? What do you want to see here?
Well, back in the old days, since I am an old collector from back in the original line
from way back.
94, so
wasn't even alive.
Oh God.
So I guess me and you, Brad, and a couple of us here were the dinosaurs of Jurassic Park, according to
we are
Tom.
Who do we want to see? What dinosaurs? We want to see myself. I want to see Jay in the movie.
Well, basically, you guys have said all the points that I would really say about this. Yeah, we need more humans. That's one thing that everyone knows that I've been saying constantly. And I've said that as well, like how Chris P said that with package. If the humans aren't selling well, then package them with dinosaurs. You don't have to package them with medium-sized carnivores or herbivores. You can package them with some of the smaller dinosaurs and newer species and get them out there that way. As far as vehicles, yes, we need an Explorer. That's another thing. We definitely need an Explorer because the Jeep that Mattel produced is fantastic. The Jurassic Jeep, both versions, even though the one with the net launcher, it's reminiscent of like something that Kenner would do back in the day, where they give you the vehicle, but they add like this crazy like weapon on it or something.
Yeah.
And you could just always customize it. But something that we've never really seen that I think if we're going to go into vehicles and Mattel is going to produce the same type of vehicles, which is very somewhat like movie accurate. Yes, there's a little tiny inaccuracies on the Jeep and other vehicles, but you can simply pass them. You don't have to be so on edge about them. But like compared to what Kenner did, right? You look at the Jeep, the Bush Devil Tracker from Kenner, awesome vehicle. But when you compare it to the Mattel one is more movie accurate. Now, if we're going down that line, I would love to see the original helicopter from the first movie. I don't know the exact. How cool would that be? We have one for the Jurassic World, the one Masrani goes on and takes a ride into the bird cage, the bird area. And it's cool. It's pretty. It looks great, but it would be great to have like that. That's one thing that we've never really had. We've had a helicopter. I have one. I forget the exact name that they called it for the Kenner line back in the day, but it looks nothing like the helicopter that we see in the beginning.
Yeah,
it'd be great to have that. You could add some action feature to it, something, a missile or something, just like any other toy. But as far as everything else, like if you compare, if you put in Kenner, you put in Hasbro, and then you put in when I say Hasbro, I say Jurassic Park 3 Hasbro toy line, and you put in what we got from Mattel, all of them combined have created, if we're looking just for this line, yes, it's kind of like we're repeating stuff that we've got from before, but better, or better molds, or like a more movie accuracy or whatnot. But if we're looking at what we've never got, like that copter is something we've never gotten. A play set that would have to do with the SS Venture cargo set.
Oh, that would be crazy.
I don't think that would ever happen.
No,
honestly.
Probably not.
No way. No, because I was at a toy show not too long ago, and they had, if you guys, some of us know about the G.I. Joe toys, they went all out. They had huge sets there, all set up. There was one that was like, I don't know, it had to be like 6 feet long. It was a battleship, and it just had all like these tanks on it and everything. I'm like, that would never happen nowadays.
No.
But it's so cool to think it could do that.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I don't know. I hope playsets make a return and stuff like that. That would be great. Hopefully we get those vehicles like so many of you are asking for. That would be incredible.
It would.
But I don't know. Well, we'll have to see. But I'm excited for all of those things as well. I won't repeat everything there. But Amy, I was going to ask you, where's Veronica? We didn't get a voicemail from Veronica this week here. And then as I'm recording this part right here, Veronica reaches out on Twitter and says, "Oh no, I'm sorry, I missed it." And I said, "Call right now." And she called, and we got a voicemail. So let's go ahead and listen to Veronica's voicemail.
Oh my God. Thank you, Brad. I just saw your tweet. First off, I just want to make this as quick as possible and just get my points out. But anyways, congratulations for making it to your 200th episode. I'm so proud of you guys. I love this podcast so much. Oh my God, you guys are the best. I can't even thank you enough for having me on a segment. But anyways, as we're reaching to this moment, this awesome moment, I wanted to talk to you guys about, actually, if you noticed Jurassic Park references in the new Stranger Things. It's actually in episode 6, which is called E Pluribus Unum. Can't tell you how many times I've seen that episode. Anyways, actually, Carrie Elwes does John Hammond's famous line, "We spared no expense." And then, other stuff happened that, if people haven't seen it, oh my God, I don't know. I don't want to spoil it too much, but that line is used, and there's some other references of Jurassic Park in that episode, and I want to know if you guys noticed that, because I thought that's cool. It's nice to know that someone's a big Jurassic Park fan, and they put it into the show. So anyways, that's about all that I have for you. Thank you so much for letting me call so late, Brad. I appreciate you guys. All right, have a good one.
Look, I'm glad that we got you on here, Veronica. Thank you so much. I'm glad we did get that voicemail there. Now, as far as Stranger Things is concerned, I don't want to spoil it. I'm glad you didn't give away anything there, because there's certainly some big things that happen that are definitely references to Jurassic Park. And I feel like they've been doing this for, I don't know, if every season, maybe even. There's always something little in there that's definitely Jurassic related. And everybody's always like, well, what? That doesn't make any sense. This is a TV show stuck in the 80s. Why would Jurassic Park be a reference? But I think that just tells how timeless, the show or the movie is, being able to fit all these iconic things, whether it's a line or certain imagery or something like that. I love that Stranger Things has done that. And every time it happens, I'm like, oh my God, that is such like a Jurassic Park moment. Jen, did you get a chance to watch that show at all or no?
I would love to, but Josh has not seen season 2, so I have to rewatch season 2 with him before I get to 3. I know, and I want to watch 3 so much, but I gotta wait. I gotta get through 2 again.
I think you guys will really love it. It's a pretty awesome season. I can't stop. I'm like, we're many weeks after now, and I just literally can't stop thinking about it. It's so awesome, and we're actually in the middle of rewatching everything again. Like as soon as I stopped season 3, I went back to season 1 and I started watching that. So yeah, it's awesome. It's so great. But I'm glad we got Veronica's call in there. That was awesome. Let's move on here to the next one. This one comes from Joe. Let's hear.
All right, so take 2. I took a little too long last time. So
little backstory. Joe called twice. And the first one got cut off, so he essentially repeated a lot of the same stuff. So we're just playing the second one.
My name's Joe, also known as the Master Joe Mayo. And ever since I was a little kid, 5, maybe 6, I started watching Jurassic Park films. And you know, I was born in 2004. It was just those 3 things and some other stuff before. For a couple of years.
Hey, Tom, is this person younger than you, or
what is going on right now? What?
A lot of years, actually. But it really impacted my life because, you know, it's hard, especially it's hard to grow up, especially if you suffer from like autism. And you know, it was just a coping mechanism. It was an oasis. The whole series was really just the place where I could, you know, escape from life and be me and do whatever I wanted to do. And it's just really impacted my life in that way. I grew up on the original trilogy of films. I especially loved the first 2, and that's how I spend a lot of my free time. I read the books for the series. It's probably somewhere around 2013, 2014, maybe 2015. When I got them as a set, it was probably 2014 or 15. It was like the build up to Jurassic World. And I loved it. And the books are great. So, and then when Jurassic World came out, I watched it, and I watched it quite a few times. And the whole reason that I do what I do, and I love what I do, and like why I'm still here is because of this series. It's just helped me through thick and thin, and you know, it's just an amazing place, and it's a great community, and I guess that's all I really got to say about it. And despite any flaws or inaccuracies, I will always love it, and it will go down as the greatest media franchise, in my personal opinion. So Star Wars, suck it.
Not a Star Wars fan there, huh?
Ooh, fighting words.
Yeah, you know, I think that this franchise really speaks like volumes about how impactful it is to everybody. And we're 26 years into this, right? And we're all still here. We're all still talking about it. And it shows how like really important it is to people. And you know, like Joe was saying, how much of an escape it is, you know, depending on how good or how bad your life is, like you can escape into this movie. And I think that's what makes it so great is like, it's our world, but it's like another world that like we hope exists or we want to exist. We want to visit this park. We want to do all these things. So it's such an escape more than some movies, you know? And I guess part of that escape is the fact that it's on like its own island. You're really not. Maybe that's why people don't like the Lost World, when it touches in San Diego at the end, but like you're on an island, you're away from everything. It's like another world, and it really does feel like an escape or a vacation. And I love that. And it really does impact a lot of people. And, he mentioned the community as well. So yeah, it's awesome. And I think this podcast, speaks volumes as well about community and how much that this series brings everybody together. And I think that's important. I love it.
Are you waiting for someone to chime in?
I was hoping maybe.
I thought you were switching to the next one.
No.
Oh, live.
I mean, personally, for me, what I think when I compare like Jurassic to any other franchise is that, and I won't say any other franchise, I'll say any franchise that's like super popular today. Like I would consider, if you look at the MCU, Star Wars, I feel like it's just like Disney stuff's killing it, but I feel like Jurassic is kind of on the bottom of that, like on the bottom of super popular franchises. And especially like Harry Potter, Jurassic is the one that actually has the most, I'll say, science, like in quotes, science. And so Jurassic has to work in a level that the science has to kind of already be there. And it kind of has to, like, you have to explain the science, like, like when they did the blood transfusion, right? It was, well, can you give a T-Rex a blood transfusion, or can you give a raptor a blood transfusion from a T-Rex? Like, even though it might not be completely accurate, which Colin has said it is, but there's argument about it, like whether or not that would be possible. At least they try to explain it to the audience. And I think Jurassic gives people, it's more than just fantasy to talk about. It's more than just lore. Like whenever you talk about Star Wars or Harry Potter or Marvel, it's really just about the lore of it. It's never really about like the real world application and the possibilities of it. Even, in the MCU, which is a lot of like science fiction things, the technology and the science, it's just so simply thrown away. Like Iron Man's math, it's not really anything. It's a 3D model on a computer. Like it doesn't even exist today. But Jurassic has to like fit into these confines of our world, which I think is really interesting. So that's all I'll say on that.
Yeah. James, we just heard about how impactful this series is. What is it? Does it feel like at least like an escape for you and very impactful in that sense?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I mean, I'm sort of just really happy that the series has just been able to continue, because there was such a long period of time between the series from Jurassic Park 3 to us not knowing whether it was going to continue. And then we got Jurassic World in 2015. But just to see how the series is progressing, and I feel like the past couple of years especially has just been a fantastic time to be a Jurassic Park and Jurassic World fan. I've never seen the franchise come together as much as it has done, not just from the community, but just all the toys and the merchandise and like the Jurassic World ride and the new developments in Orlando, just like everything that's happening. And it's just amazing to see it. So for me, just sort of seeing the series continue, I'm really excited for Jurassic World 3. But just sort of for the future after that, because it's just completely unknown at the moment. And like Colin said, he doesn't know what's going to happen after the next film. So I just think it's really exciting.
Yeah, it's definitely like a safe place for everybody to talk about the things that they love, whether it is all those things that you mentioned. And that's what I love about this. It's a cool fandom, a great community, and an escape for me as well. So yeah, thank you, Joe. Let's go ahead and move on here. We have some stuff from Caleb Burnett, our buddy Caleb. Let's take a listen.
Hey, Brad, Tom, all the Jurassic Park Podcast contributors. It's Caleb Burnett here. Just want to say congratulations on episode 200, and you guys do a great job. Give us fans something great to listen to. And the question I want to ask is, again, how do you know they're all female? Somebody go out in the park and lift up all the dinosaur skirts?
That's it. He cut it off there, apparently.
He just answered his own question.
I guess, yeah. Yeah, they told us. That's what happened. We're going to follow it up with another one from Caleb here.
Hey, Brad. Hey, Jen. Just calling to say what's up. Happy Jurassic June. And,
hey, Caleb, it's August, man. You know, get with it. No, I've had this one apparently since June, maybe?
I have some Jurassic marriage-related questions for you.
Ooh.
So, if Alan and Ellie come back in Jurassic World 3, do you want them to be married, together, not married, dating? But also, if Ian Malcolm returns, should Sarah Harding come back, and would you want them to be in a relationship or married? Anyway, that's all I got. See you soon.
Jen, what do you think? Do you want any Jurassic marriages here coming up in the next movie?
Not marriages. No, there might be, I don't know. That ship may have sailed, but I would like to see Alan and Ellie together, of course, for sure. They need to fix that problem from 3. I don't want to see Sarah Harding ever, so no on that. And I don't think Malcolm's someone who would stay with people more than a day anyway. So, but I do want to see Alan and Ellie together. And with the, the rumors of people coming back, I'm hoping that they go that route and we get to see that. And it's like everything evens out in the world and it's okay.
I don't know where we talked about it recently, if it was here or in person with somebody on Wire, I'm not sure, but I definitely don't want Alan and Ellie. No, stay split apart, whatever. I would actually be cool with Ian and Sarah. I think that would be pretty cool to see her return. And I feel like that would be the only way we could get a return from her, even though I think, in one of the recent mailbags, I talked about how I think she would be more imperative than Ellie to bring back in this movie, but who am I,
Yeah, we were like polar opposites on that returning cast ideas.
Yeah. Well, we're going to speed along here. So Caleb, thank you so much. I have another one here from Tim, our buddy, Collect Jurassic. Let's hear what Tim has to say.
Hey, Jurassic Park Podcast. This is Tim from Collect Jurassic. And, of course, I had to call in and talk about some toys with you guys. So got a lot of new stuff coming out this year and next year, but just curious what your thoughts were on the Legacy Collection and what we would like to see from that going forward. If it ever does come back, obviously everyone wants everyone wants a Ford Explorer pretty bad, but are there any toys that you guys would like to see from the Legacy Collection, that we haven't really talked about? Awesome show. Thanks for letting me call in.
Thanks, Tim. Thanks. I'll start off here and just say, I think we covered a lot of this, maybe in that one of those last questions. But yeah, Explorer for me, I want that breakaway bathroom set, and give me a Roland Tembo. I really want that. So that's my picks. Jen, do you have anything that you'd like to see from the past?
Yes, I would like a Jurassic World Legacy Collection with Jurassic World Claire.
That counts as the past, so you win. Yes, there you go. Tom, what do you think?
I really struggled to find the unmute button again then. So it's becoming a frequent problem. I am fully with Jen that I think there is a lot of scope to explore some fun stuff from Jurassic World. I mean, getting a generic ACU trooper in a baseball cap with one of the taser rifles. Why we haven't got one yet, I really don't understand, because it would make a lot of sense. I also think that there's a lot of scope to do a lot of fun stuff with the Lost World. We've got all of the capture vehicles, the Humvees, the other smaller vehicles, which I think could make for some really, really fun play sets, like we were saying earlier, which would really bridge that gap in terms of having a gap between humans and dinosaur toys, and actually make something that brings all of the best stuff together. So I really, really hope that if it does continue, which I hope it finds some kind of new life, particularly within the movie years in 2021 and beyond, that we see them kind of really reinvest some energy in the whole legacy of the line as opposed to just that first film.
Yeah, I like that. Let's go ahead. I'm gonna have to breeze through a lot of these things here because we've only scratched the surface on these voicemails and we're already 2 hours in. So let's continue on here. We have one from Austin. Let's take a listen.
Hi, my name's Austin. On Twitter, I'm Jurassic Aust.
What's up,
I'm
dude?
a long-time listener to the show, and it took me a minute to think of a good question to ask, but for the 200th episode, I wanted to know your thoughts on the rumors of Jurassic Park 6 possibly being broken up into 2 different films. I know it's just a heavy rumor right now. Personally, I don't think I want that, but maybe they can make something work with that. What do you think? Thanks.
Does anybody know where this rumor is stemming from? Because I've heard a few people talk about this splitting up thing, but I actually didn't know where it came from. I guess nobody knows.
No, I mean, I've never heard of
There's
that.
a screenshot. Someone, I think Fede screenshot it. It was in a rumor on some website, but I don't know the website because it's a screenshot of just the rumor section. So I don't know where it came from, but it was on some website somewhere.
Huh. Yeah, I've seen a few people talk about it, but like I said, I just have no idea where it came from. But as far as like the rumor is concerned, whether it's true or not, I have no idea. I would like that. I think that would be great. I think that would be a great way to continue. I think we might have even mentioned it a while back on one of our episodes. Maybe it came from us. Maybe we started that rumor.
We're the rumor. Someone listened to the podcast. But I would love that. I know.
Yeah.
I was surprised to see a lot more opposition because even in his tweet, when he first posted the screenshot, which I'll send you, I'm looking for it here, but there's a lot of like people saying, no, don't do that. It was stretched out too long. I don't want 2 1.5 hour movies, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, what if both are over 2 hours and it's epic? And personally, I get 2 press junkets and I get 2 times to do like the press stuff. And that's exciting to me. So I would love to. I get to do it twice because I don't want to say goodbye to this excitement of the movie. And I'm not ready to say goodbye because I know this is being the last time they're going to film it. But if they break it into 2, we get 2 sections of like build up excitement trailers. And I don't want to let that go yet.
Yeah, I think that's the best thing, getting to cover this all. Well, man, that means if this is coming out 2021, we're probably not going to, we're going to go, well, usually when they do like, maybe they film things back to back, usually it'll come out like the next year. So maybe, 2022, I think we would have heard about this already by this point, but like as far as officially, but who knows? That would be a cool rumor. Maybe they split it out a little bit farther or we got to wait until 2024. But that just means the podcast has to keep going. So 200 mailbags is sounding a little bit more probable now.
Yeah.
I was going to go to Tom, but apparently he's cooking chicken. So we'll go ahead here to the next one. So this is from Genozoic Artist. Let's take a listen.
Hello, Jurassic Park Podcast. This is Genozoic. And before I say anything else, wow, congrats on the 200th episode.
Thank you.
That's insane. Well deserved. But still, wow. So as far as thoughts, comments, or questions, well, seeing the footage from the Mattel Jurassic World panel, I was particularly excited by, well, everything if I'm being honest, but in particular, their focus on letting us know about Netflix's upcoming Camp Cretaceous series, which I'm an animation buff, so that's kind of one of the things I really love to see coming forth. I've been wanting a Jurassic Park animated series since I was a kid. 26 years waiting.
Yeah.
Wow. So I'd love to hear any hopes, fears, and general wonder of what could be in store for the Camp Cretaceous toys. I'm optimistic this may be a return to a bit more focus on the human characters, but that being said, I really hope they package them with some not miniaturized adult dinosaurs. Compsognathus is always great, but possibly return to hatchling dinosaurs, maybe some other smaller breeds that might not otherwise receive a toy. I mean, who wouldn't want an Archaeopteryx, right? I know, not a dinosaur, but flying reptile was just, now I'm confusing myself here. Well, again, anyhow, congrats
that happens to me all the time.
Episode again. Can't wait to see what's in store for the future. After all, it's always closer than it appears, right?
Yeah.
All right. Thanks again, and hopefully I made the deadline. Genozoic out.
You made the deadline, man. You got in. And yeah, I have no idea what the future holds for the show. I mean, like everybody's saying 200 more. Oh my gosh. But yeah, I mean, we just play it like week by week, whatever happens. And of course we schedule a lot of stuff out, but I'm excited to see where it goes too. So
we're 5 years from Jurassic World. So
geez, yeah, it's
it's
pretty crazy here. Almost. Yeah. But he talked about Camp Cretaceous toys, as far as what we want to see and stuff. And I think he's spot on there with wanting, hatchling dinosaurs instead of these shrunken down adult dinosaurs. That really bothers me. One of my biggest nitpicks here with Mattel's toy line is these just shrunken down versions of the adult dinosaurs. I don't like that. I really like the hatchlings. They're always one of my favorite things. The baby dinosaurs, they actually looked like babies. They didn't look like fully grown adults and stuff like that. So I need more of that stuff. And I'm interested though to see like how stylized they are, because when you look at Star Wars toys, they have toys for all of their mediums, whether it's the movies, they look certainly more realistic. Then they have the ones for like Star Wars Rebels or Star Wars Resistance, and they do look a little bit more cartoony. So I'm interested to see if they take that aspect where, we have these 3 3/4 inch humans from the movies, but there's going to be a little difference as far as the stylized look is concerned. Jen, do you have any kind of thoughts on the toys from that?
Talk to your toy guys.
Okay.
They're better use of time than me on this.
Aaron, I don't know if I've gone to you in a little bit. So what are your thoughts on the show toys
interaction
from the show?
So for me, the dinosaurs toys, they have to go along with the live action stuff, which I don't think is too impossible because the live action toys don't actually really look live action, right? They're not super hyper real. And the dinosaurs that at least the feel we got from the Camp Cretaceous trailer, those dinosaurs are a little closer to real than you might expect. The real problem is going to be with any human stuff, which, as far as Mattel is going, it seems like the humans are kind of out anyway. So I'm expecting kind of just more. Honestly, I feel like I'm expecting just more of the same. Like, I feel like we might get a bunch of repaints of figures we already have that just have like a Camp Cretaceous badge on it. But how many more badges can they throw on these figures, right? Like Camp Cretaceous, Dino Rivals, Legacy, like they need to just they need to not do an actual line. I think it just needs to be, the Carnotaurus as seen in Camp Cretaceous, and just kind of like they just did the Battle at Big Rock, but like actually have a project to back it up. That's my thoughts on it. Because I did always enjoy that the Star Wars line, like for the animated series, they always fit in with the live action stuff scale wise anyway. And even when it was an animated figure, it was kind of like a half step. So it could kind of work if you wanted to do that.
Sure. It's not like the proportions were like out of control or anything.
Right.
They were
exactly
perfectly in line. They just looked a little bit more animated. That's kind of what I expect here. But I will say that when you look at that image from Camp Cretaceous, they do look a little disproportioned. They don't look like your natural human stature, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think so. And that's why I don't think we're going to get human figures for that line, unfortunately. I think being a one, it's coming to Netflix, which means everything's going to hit in a week. I don't know if that justifies creating a specific toy line other than just like as seen in Netflix's original show or whatever.
Yeah, I think sticking with the dinosaurs is your best bet. You can keep them realistic looking. And you know what, Tom, what do you think? No, I'm kidding. Tom just got back from cooking some chicken.
I just got my chicken goujons, damn it.
No, I'm kidding. I'm skipping over you. I'm skipping you, man. But yeah, I think we answered that one fully here. So let's move on. We still got some more here. So let's go to Taylor.
Hi, this is Taylor. I'm Griffinbird Press on Instagram.
What's up?
Man, I'm always a little worried you're going to pick up. But then I guess we could talk Jurassic. This is for this month's mailbag. I don't know if it's too late or not.
No.
But it's in regards to the 6-inch line or the 6.5-inch line that Mattel's bringing out. I just wanted to say I'm super excited for that. I've always been more of a 6-inch collector with the Black Series and Marvel Legends than I have with any 3 3/4 inch line. So the only size of line that I collect is the Jurassic World line. So I'm super excited to finally have some that'll fall more in line with Legends and the Black Series. I remember you talking with Aaron on the wire about how you thought they were kind of expensive, and I kind of agree. But also I was thinking, if at GameStop, even Marvel Legends and Star Wars Black Series are more. They're more like 22, 23 at GameStop. So I think that's just like kind of, since it's at a GameStop exclusive, that's the reason it's kind of more expensive than for $25 for people and $30 for dinos. But anyway, I guess if I had a question, it would just be, are you going to give this line a chance, and do you see it having as bright a future as I do? Because I'm super excited, and I can imagine just like waves of it similar to Marvel Legends or something, where it's like you get a Dennis Nedry and Dilophosaurus wave, or you get Robert Muldoon and the baby T-Rex, or a Gallimimus. You can get Pachycephalosaurs, all kinds. I don't know how big they're going to go with the dinosaurs, but it seems like there's plenty of human-sized dinos for them to work with. So I'm super excited. I don't know if you guys are, so I guess that's my question.
So yeah, the 6.5 inch line, I'll give it a shot, a partial shot. I don't really care all that much, to be honest. I think like if they get the characters that I want, I will buy them. But I'm not really too fussed about getting Owen or even Malcolm. I don't really care. I'll get that first Raptor, and I probably don't even care about Blue. Like I'm going to be very selective when it comes to this. Jen, you are a huge toy collector.
Yes. And I have an answer for this.
Oh, good. Yes. What are you doing? Are you getting these?
I will take a Jurassic World Claire in
there we
any
go.
size. I don't care if it's 6.5. I don't care if it's 3 feet. I will take any size. So according to his sizing specific, whatever that was, I don't care the size. I will take her in any size.
Sure. I joked with Victoria from Victoria's Cantina on her Twitter the other day, because she put out a poll about like what dinosaur would you like to see in the super colossal size next? And I said, like, what? No option for Owen? So like,
I'm sure that's already like in process.
So should we would you buy the super colossal Claire?
Again, any size. Any size.
Now I want to jump over to Jay, because I feel like you probably have some thoughts on this. Being a collector of all kinds of products, whether it's high end or low end, what do you think about the 6.5 inch? Are you going to invest in it?
Well, the Raptor, I'd most likely get, and there was rumors that there might be a Lost World Tiger Stripe Raptor, which I would definitely get. But Malcolm doesn't look like Malcolm to me.
No,
I think I made a joke on the Slack on our chat. Everybody, most people might have seen it. It was pretty funny with Malcolm. He just doesn't have Jeff Goldblum's face. He just looks weird to me. Even the smaller figure kind of looks a little bit different too, but for like the 6-inch line, I feel they would have gone, I don't know, done a better sculpt on his face, something to improve it. It just didn't look right to me.
Yeah.
Now with Owen, I don't think I would get Owen. I'm kind of like tapped out on so many Owens, so many different.
Really?
kinds of Owens.
Why is that? Why do you think that is?
There's just too many. Like, I would be interested in having a variation of Claire. We only have just like one, two. I never got the yellow jacket one for little small Claire. I've never seen her at all anywhere. Like only, on Instagram or with other people getting her.
I had to get it on Amazon.
See?
Did you pay like $27 though?
No, it wasn't that. I don't know. Actually, Josh bought it for my birthday, so I don't know how much it was.
Josh spent $27.
Okay.
You
spent $60, and then she just tore it open.
I haven't opened it. I really haven't.
Okay.
I don't want to. I don't know what to do with it because I don't know. But I haven't opened it.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, I think we've spoken a lot about it on other segments and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm excited for it, but also apprehensive a little bit. So.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Taylor. Let's move on here to the next one. This is from Steven.
Hi, Brad
Hey.
and Jen. This is Steven at Jurassic Steven on Twitter. Previously, it was like hold on. It was like Steven5596. It was a bunch of numbers because I didn't understand how Twitter worked. Not the point. Point is, I have listened to every single episode of the Jurassic Park podcast.
I'm sorry?
Started listening in January of this year. And it was a good thing you were on hiatus because that means I had like 4 months to listen without you guys uploading, which is great. Yeah, but now I'm finally calling in. I wanted to wait till I listened to everything to call in. I just wanted to say, love the podcast. You guys are great. And I decided I wanted to ask a non-Jurassic Park related question to each of you. So, You're both Disney fans. I live in Florida and I have the annual Disney Pass, so I kind of go whenever. So my question is, what are your favorite attractions at Disney? Because I know you both like Disney. So, Brad, I'm pretty sure yours is Haunted Mansion. I don't remember if Jen said what hers is. Anyway, I'm just wondering. Yep. So, I'll keep listening. And thank you so much for all the work you do in the Jurassic community. Bye.
Steven, that's a great question. I like that. Jen, you want to go first?
Yeah, I was gonna pick one from every park, but then I thought, crap, there's a couple from the same park, so maybe I'll just try doing a top 5. I don't know. Well, dinosaurs obviously my favorite.
Oh, okay.
I truly love. This might throw a wrench, but I truly love Festival of the Lion King. That's one of my favorite things. Peter Pan's Flight, very important, nostalgic thing in my life.
Interesting.
Haunted Mansion, duh, and. This is an odd one, and we're kind of off the cuff here, so just kind of thinking. I gotta say, I'm gonna go with. Oh, this is hard. This is hard to do one more. There's like 3 that are running in my head. I'm gonna do Spaceship Earth.
Yes, I appreciate that. That is a good pick. That was your 5, right?
Yeah, that was my 5.
Okay. So yeah, my top ride, Steven already mentioned it, is the Haunted Mansion. I think that's like the best everything. It's so good. I'm gonna go with Spaceship Earth too. I love Spaceship Earth. I
got an honorable mention, but keep going.
I'm gonna go Flight of Passage. Love Flight of Passage. Think it's fantastic. Going Dinosaur as well. Love Dinosaur. And where have I not gone? I haven't gone to Hollywood Studios.
Yeah.
We'll go Tower of Terror just because I wanted to hit all the parks. Tower of Terror is amazing. It's incredible from start to finish.
My honorable mention is the People Mover.
Oh, that's a good honorable mention. If I'm gonna go that and Carousel of Progress.
Oh, good one. Good one.
Thank you, Steven. Thank you for switching it up and making us talk about something else for a second. This one here is from Mike. Let's take a listen to Mike.
Hi, Brad. My name's Mike Christich.
What's up, Mike?
I'm a first-time caller. I love the show. I've only been listening to ever since you came back from your hiatus. I listened to some of the older shows, but once I found out that you guys existed, I've been hooked ever since.
Awesome.
I wanted to run a few things by you. One, just hearing the news about Camp Cretaceous is amazing. I saw the preview, and I'm hooked. The graphics look awesome in the show, and I can't wait to watch it on Netflix. Hands down, I'm like a kid again with that. And the Brachiosaurus that came out, that's coming out, the Legacy Collection. Love the artwork on the box. I'm probably going to buy 4 of them. And that kind of leads me into my my question is, which I'm sure you've been asked before, is out of all the dinosaurs, or the toys, I should say, I wanted to know what your favorite dinosaur was, whether it be from the Kenner days or Mattel days or even Hasbro.
Oof.
I mean, it's kind of hard to choose. I'd almost choose one from each of the toy makers. You know, like it has to be, for me, it's the bull T-Rex, the JP-29 from the Lost World. I absolutely love that. The fact it was like the first one that you could actually eat a 6-inch figure. It was, you know, that it was the most realistic one for me. And as far as the newer one goes, I think it might be the Brachiosaurus. Brachiosaurus, or I really like the thrash and throw T-Rex, despite it being broken up multiple times. But just wanted to say, you know, give my opinions on that, and say the show's great, and I look forward to the next episode. Thanks. Bye.
Awesome, dude. Yeah, we're gonna get through these answers. Camp Cretaceous, we talked about that. Awesome stuff. Can't wait. Brachiosaurus toy box looks wonderful. I can't wait to own one myself. You're gonna get 4. I'm sure Aaron is right there with you. But let's talk about our favorite toys. Let's go through this real quick. Just give your single answers here. Mine, I'm gonna go with, you know, the Red Rex. That's my favorite one. Jen, do you have one?
Yes, I do. It's the Claire Barbiosaurus.
The what?
Claire Barbiosaurus.
That's a thing?
It's my thing. It's the only thing I have from any toy line that I have, like, actually outside. Not outside, but like displayed someplace. Everything else is in a box.
Well, apparently we have Steve back. Hey, Steve, are you here? What's going on? Do you have a favorite toy?
Yes, yeah, the Super Colossal Rex.
Good answer.
Yeah, love that thing.
Tom, do you have one?
I am going to go with the Lego Jurassic World Dilophosaurus Ambush set from 2015.
Wow. All right. Aaron, what's yours?
Favorite Kenner is the Bull T-Rex and the Kets, and I think my favorite Mattel is the Extreme Chompin' T-Rex.
Nice. AJ?
Since the Brachiosaurus isn't out yet, I got to go Indominus Rex. And Annabelle and Gabby want to give you theirs too.
Oh, yeah, go.
My favorite dinosaur is the Carnosaur.
Awesome. That's fantastic.
Okay. All right. Well, right now she's holding on to the mini Diplodocus.
Oh, nice. Okay, that's a good favorite. I like that. James, do you have any favorite toy?
Yeah, so I did originally have the Kenner 1997 Giant Pteranodon as a child, but unfortunately I got rid of it. Well, my family got rid of it. So
oh no.
Yeah, so I lost that one. So that one was my favorite. But yeah, from the recent toy line, I think the Indominus is pretty cool.
Yeah, not bad choices. Jay, what's going on? What do you think?
Oh, you guys already know the Red Rex. That's why I get all the other toys and all the other figures have their display set all across the wall, and that's why the Red Rex is right above my desk, away from them all.
It's it's something old and silly looking, but it's a great centerpiece. I love it.
Yeah, I love that figure.
But yeah, that was Mike. So thank you, Mike. And now we have one from Cremole. Let's take a listen.
Hey guys, Chris here, or Cremole Online. Just wanted to leave you a message, wishing you guys a happy 200th podcast.
Thank you.
Yeah, really enjoyed listening to the podcast. You know, all the different segments you have on there, the different people that come on. Love hearing what, Jen has to say on the mailbag, get her views on things.
Woo!
So yeah, just really appreciate all the work that goes into it, so thank you. One other thing I'd be curious to get your guys' opinion on is with all the changes coming to Islands of Adventure in Florida, what if they did like a T-Rex encounter? Kind of similar to the Raptor encounter, but maybe not as personal one-on-one, kind of like you have with Blue. Perhaps scheduled times when she comes out. Be like, I'm not exactly sure where they would put this thing, but it's fun to think about. Maybe people would just gather around the edge of like a section of paddock, like you just kind of have the fencing there and then jungle behind it, trees. They could even do something where you hear the the boom of her footsteps as she approaches. Maybe even have the trees and jungle start to shake as she gets closer. And then she appears and do it kind of like Blue is done in Florida, where you just see her head, neck, and maybe her arms. Maybe there's like a few people controlling this thing. She kind of interacts with the people for a little while. Have like a handler on our side of the paddock, kind of telling us about her throwing a couple of close calls. I don't know. It seems like it could be kind of fun. So anyways, just curious what you guys think. Again, appreciate the podcast. Happy 200. You guys take it easy.
Thank you, Chris. I absolutely love that idea. And I think it'd be beneficial. You should check out some videos online of, I believe it's Universal Studios Japan. I think they do it. They do like this situation where all these dinosaurs come out, sort of like the ones that we've seen from Hollywood. They actually have like a Triceratops, maybe a Stegosaurus, raptors come out, like several of them. And then they also have a giant animatronic of a Spinosaurus that is kind of broken through the fence, but you only see like half the body, and there's like a whole show thing that happens. So I think your idea is stellar. It would be awesome to have that. I feel like things like that would be really beneficial to the land, something that makes it feel more alive. Jen, what do you think? Do you want to see that in some capacity?
The first thing that popped in my head was the exhibition, how they did the T-Rex with the exhibition, and that was super cool. And what he was describing, I had the exhibition in my head, and I'm like, okay, that's exactly what it was. So they can recreate that, and that looked really, really good.
Yeah, that was one of the first things that popped into my head too. I thought the exhibition was exactly what he described. There's like, however many people walked in there, 20, 30 people walked in there at a time, and we all watched the thing walk and bump into the truck, roar, and then walk backwards, apparently.
There's lightning and sound. And
so that would be fantastic. That would be a big experience, which they did have the Triceratops encounter years ago, and they bulldozed that. So that's no longer there. But I think that would be amazing. And I know, we've been recording for a while now. It's just about Tom's bedtime. So Tom, I want to bring you in here because I feel like you have something to say before you head out.
Yeah, for sure. So obviously this is a really nice special celebration where you've got all of us in to mark 200 episodes. I know that I've not been here for 200 episodes. I'm certainly one of the people who's joined in more recent memory for a lot of you guys who have been here for a while. But I just wanted to say that I really, really appreciate everyone who supports this podcast, who is always there commenting on everything we're doing, really bigging everything up and supporting it, because it really, really does make a difference. I know we've got a really, really amazing group of fans who follow the podcast and are constantly listening in even every week. People like Veronica, who is always phoning in for the mailbag. So it's really, really great to have so many people. I'm getting so distracted by you guys laughing at me for not being alive for 200 episodes. Hey guys, I was in the zone.
I was trying to be quiet about it, but yeah, that killer joke by AJ about Tom not being alive for 200 episodes.
I am just really, really thankful for everything that this podcast has made possible, and I'm also really, really thankful for all you guys who I'm talking to right now, because you're some of the best friends I've got, and I think that without the Jurassic Park podcast, none of this would have ever happened. So yeah, peace out, much love. Enjoy the rest of the episode, because it only goes downhill from here.
Oh, come on now. You're not that important, man. Come on, I'm kidding. I love you, dude. I'm so glad you've been a part of the show for however long it's been, and you've like taken it to another level, and I'm always like kind of in awe about how much you actually do, because whether it's here or Collect Jurassic or Jurassic Collectibles or your own channel, you've always got stuff going out. Content like literally every day. I don't know how you do it, because it's a lot of stuff, and the fact that you're only 14, how old? And you do all this, like,
you mean 6.
Okay, yeah, I couldn't imagine, honestly. I say this like I was never this like mature, I guess, at your age. So I appreciate it, man. And I'm an old man now, but I appreciate you taking some time to hang with us for a little bit.
Yeah, no, it's been fun, and you guys enjoy the rest of the episode.
Thank you, dude. Thank you. But let's go ahead and move on here to our next our next call. Here is from Jeremy. Let's check it out.
Hello, Brad and Jen. This is Jeremy Wiles. Congratulations on 200 episodes of Jurassic Park podcasting. I have a question for you and your listeners, Brad. Does anyone else who saw the original theatrical release of Jurassic Park in 1993 remember seeing the ending where Rexy crashes through the wall of the visitor center? I saw it twice whenever I was 6 years old, and you can still hear where it happens on the original soundtrack. If you'd pull up a clip on YouTube real quick of where Rexy breaks in and saves the day, pay attention to the music. I'll give you a second to pause my recording when that happens.
What am I doing? Oh, I'm pausing it. Am I supposed to be bringing
from music? I don't have
okay. I have no idea which audio cue.
See, this is a live one. This is a bad one to do this on.
Yeah. I usually could like edit it. But let's see. What is that track called? Does anybody know? Somebody help me out here.
Do you want to move this to your next mailbag?
No.
Like give him the actual like time it's going to take.
Let's see. No, hold on. We'll go with it's got to be the end credits, or no, T-Rex. Oh, the T-Rex rescue and finale. Let's see. Here it is, but there's an ad from YouTube.com. But I want to see what he's actually saying. So let's keep going here.
Okay, and if you listen to the original soundtrack, skip to 6 minutes and 35 seconds into the T-Rex and finale track.
There we go. If I just listen
for you to listen to that.
Well, what time did he say? 6 something?
Hear the difference?
Nope.
That's where the situation went.
This is too hard for us. It's too hard for the mailbag.
All right, so we're at 6 minutes. Here we go. Oh, yeah. So I don't remember that part right there. That's not. I don't believe that part's in the movie. But
went from bad to worse. But because the humans were the only ones who knew that Rexy's vision was based on movement, she went for the raptors because they froze. If any of your listeners are practicing digitizing film, please volunteer some time at Universal and get that sequence digitized because I'd love to see it in the deleted scenes someday. And
I'm not even sure what he's talking about, to be honest.
To me, it sounds like he's talking about there must have been some sequence where, I mean, because like in the widescreen version, especially, you can see like the hole where Rexy comes through like the unfinished wall or like the balcony or whatever.
Sure, yeah.
But I mean, unfortunately, as far as volunteering at time at Universal, I think the Joker said it best in The Dark Knight. Like, if you're good at something, never do it for free. And personally, I don't think those assets exist. A lot of movies, like it really stinks. But as soon as the movie is over, assets are straight deleted. Unless a studio wants to archive the work. And now that movies are made amongst a bunch of different studios and visual effects companies, like it really is on. It would really be on Universal at the end of every project to want to collect those assets and store them on hard drives or servers at their studio. So unfortunately, the stuff that people want deleted scene wise from Jurassic Park, it just simply does not exist. We will never see anything other than live action humans and dinosaur heads on sticks, because especially in those days, if it wasn't going to be in the final cut, they weren't pre-CGing this stuff at all. It's not like today where there's a bunch of you go to the Avengers extended cut for Endgame and you at least get like a rough outline of what was going to happen. If it wasn't going to make the final cut, they simply didn't start the CG. So that's kind of where I fall on that.
Yeah, and I'm not really even sure, to be honest, about this sequence that he's talking about. I don't think anything was ever created for a T-Rex breaking through anything. But maybe it was initially in the score and John Williams recorded something for that, because we know that sequence was changed from Steven's original outline, as far as the T-Rex saving the day. So at least that existed at some point in the script. But I don't know about like as far as like digitally like making it into the film. Let me see what else he has to say here.
Hello, Brad and Jen.
We started
from
the beginning.
From bad to worse, but because the humans were the only ones who knew that Rexy's vision was based on movement, she went for the raptors because they froze. If any of your listeners are practicing digitizing film, please volunteer some time at Universal and get that sequence digitized, because I'd love to see it in the deleted scenes someday. And as for you, Jen, how could you?
Yeah,
You
Jen?
didn't do anything wrong. I'm just busting your chops. Congratulations on your thing, by the way. You two have a nice day, and if you want to, you can follow me at @WilesPaleo on Twitter.
Oh, that got me.
Sure, is justified for something. Hating
That
the
got
lost
me.
world, who knows?
That got me really good. How could you, Jen? Oh, man. I'm going to have to do some research after this, Jeremy, because I'm not really sure. Maybe I have to go like scour Clayton Fioriti's YouTube channel and see if there's like something missing that I'm just not remembering. But James, I know you have to get out of here. Do you know anything about what he's kind of mentioning here? Or did he actually leave? Did I lose him? No, he's still there. He's just muted. Hey, James, you're muted.
Can you hear me now?
There he is.
Yeah. Yay. No, I haven't left.
Okay.
I just wanted to say it's just amazing, Brad, that you've managed to achieve 200 episodes. I just want to thank you and Jen for everything you do for the mailbag, and for everybody at the Jurassic Park podcast. It has been such really great for me to join the team over the past few months. Unfortunately, I've been really busy with university research, but I'm really looking forward to cracking on with some more articles over the coming months and getting more involved with the podcast again. So, but yeah, thank you, Brad, for everything. And everybody keep listening to the podcast because it is fantastic.
Thank you, dude. I really, really appreciate it. And it's been awesome having you like write for us on the website. While your participation hasn't been much on the podcast end, I really appreciate all the extra work that you would do on the website. So that's awesome. That's always what we're looking for, is participation across the board wherever anybody can help. So thank you so much, dude. It's been great having you today.
Thank you.
Let's go ahead and move on here. We have another one from Rowan. Let's take a listen.
Hey guys, it's Rowan. Hey, I was just wondering what you guys think about a return of Hammond in some way in Jurassic World 3, possibly like a Princess Leia CGI version. I mean, I don't know, like the family and all that, if that would be okay, but I was just thinking a flashback with him and Lockwood and like the moral debate about Maisie could be a really interesting idea. I'd like to see as many of the returning old characters as possible. Grant and Sadler, or they just somehow, it's hard to see how they would tie in, but it feels like this possibly being the final movie, they got to put him in there somehow. And since this is bringing things back from the dead, I thought maybe bringing Hammond back from the dead with CGI could be interesting. I can't seem to get like two quick little scenes out of my head, and I wanted to kind of share what they were. One is, since the dinosaurs happened to break loose in Northern California, it looks like, there could be a bow hunter out in the woods drawing back on his bow on an elk or a deer, and we look through his sights, and then the T-Rex comes smashing through the trees and snatches it up.
Hey, wait a second. Did we already hear this one? I feel like we heard this, Jen.
I was going to say, we talked about this, unless it's really deja vu, but I heard this before, too.
I was just like literally thinking, like, I feel like I've heard this. So maybe we have. Maybe we already did this one. But, Let's just keep listening.
And the other one I had is just an old man in like a woodsy cabin sitting in like a dimly lit living room.
Yeah, I remember that.
Just sitting there reading, and then he feels a thump and goes outside to investigate with a flashlight and sees a brachiosaur just trotting along next to his cabin, or any large herbivore that happens to be out there. Anyways, I don't know why I keep seeing those quick scenes in my head, but they sound kind of cool. But anyway,
yes.
Guys, let me know what you think about the Hammond idea, and I'll try to call into another mailbag soon. Thanks.
All right, so my bad. And I don't know, we might have hit that mic one before. Whoops. I'm just looking at the timestamp on two of those voicemails, and they were from June. So yeah. But I know, a lot of people, maybe we already talked about this, Jen, but a lot of people have some pretty interesting thoughts. Aaron, why don't you go ahead and tackle your thoughts on bringing back John Hammond?
I just don't think it's a good idea. Like I think Jay actually has a really good thought, so I'll let him kind of take that on. I think it's already tough enough making dinosaurs look real. And I personally, I don't think depending on the lighting, I don't think they necessarily always look as real as they even did in the 90s. But I think it's even harder to make humans look real. And for something like John Hammond, I don't want a CG version of John Hammond taking me out of what I deem is a very important character to like not only the films, but like an important character to like my childhood. So, but that's me personally. And I work in CG. I'm usually pretty pro, like, really anything computer generated if it's done well. I just don't think we're quite there yet.
Sure. I like that you pointed out.
I have weird feelings about bringing back dead actors because I get these franchises like own their likeness and stuff, but like Leia like made sense to me, but then what was it? Is his name Tarkin?
Yeah.
Like, Tarkin felt, I was like, no, this seems like you didn't really give him an option to really want to be a part of this. And like, here he is. Like, I have like actual ethical, I think, problems with bringing back dead actors unless they have signed a contract saying that's a possibility.
But isn't that what Jurassic Park is all about? Is dinosaurs didn't ask to be,
but that's what makes Jurassic exciting, right? Like is that we've Jurassic is fictional. Bringing back Sir Richard Attenborough for a movie in CG, that's not fictional. That's a real thing.
That's real. Yeah. But like, at least in Tarkin's case, the Tarkin, or no, not the Tarkin, the actor's estate signed off on it. So Peter Cushing's family or whoever runs his estate was okay with him having his likeness in the movie. And I know maybe in some cases the families are like, well, I'd rather have him, alive in this sense than not at all and never remembered. So I just don't see Hammond coming to life ever in this version. But I like that you pointed out about Jay has some interesting thoughts on this. And I looked in our chat and he said animatronic Hammond. And then he also said we can have James Hawkins voice him. So which specific thing were you did you think he had a good? Because Jay, are you here? Come tap in with this.
Lost World. I think what he said about the Lost World is totally. Oh
valid. Yes, sure. His ending.
Let him voice that if he's still around.
But why can't Hammond be represented someplace like how he was in the portrait?
Well, yeah, no,
that's
totally.
fine. That's fine.
Fine way.
Yeah,
I just think what Jay was saying. Is he around? Did he go for a minute?
No, he's there.
No, I'm here. I'm just laughing in the background, and I was laughing too loud.
I think what you said in our chat about. I mean, do you want to say it? Like, because I think what you said is actually like really nice.
Actually,
I never thought of that.
Steve was the one who said his last moments in the Lost World are perfect.
Yeah. Wait, who said that?
Steve.
Yeah, Steve was the one that said that. I was the one making the joke.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, okay. Yeah. The chat's going really fast. So,
Steve, what are your thoughts then?
What are your thoughts? Because I think they're perfect.
Yeah, sorry. My thoughts were that Hammond's final moments in The Lost World is just the perfect end to that character. That whole voiceover as the boat is leaving is just how it is the most perfect ending to a character. and then having just the statue in Jurassic World and then the portrait in Fallen Kingdom, that that's perfect. And if there was something in Jurassic World 3, I would say just something like a portrait or a statue is enough.
Sure, yeah. I think you're right though. It's that moment in The Lost World is one of the most iconic and best moments I think in the entire series. So leave it at that, and then just have little trinkets here or there that kind of showcase him. I think is the best option.
Yeah,
I
perfect.
think, if we get a nod to Hammond in the next film, because we know that Maisie at one point, Maisie 1.0 or Maisie original was on Nublar at the time of Hammond and her grandfather's or her father's relationship. It would be nice to maybe see did Hammond always wear white linen, or was that his thing, or do you think that's what he was wearing on that day? I don't know, but it would maybe be nice to see a close up of the cane, and maybe he opens the door for Maisie and we don't necessarily see his face. That can be really cheesy. I think Shazam did it really poorly with Superman, but I think it could actually be really kind of beautiful if we get a flashback to Nublar where we maybe get something that tells us that it is Hammond interacting with Maisie's in a flashback, or interacting with someone in a flashback, but maybe not showing or hearing Sir Richard Attenborough exactly.
That's great. I think that's great. I think James would be through the roof. He would want to come back here and do this voice for John Hammond, and I think that's actually probably the best way is if you have him shot from the back, so you see his back and then you hear his voice. But John Hammond only has 2 outfits. He either wears strictly white or PJs. Those are the only 2 outfits he owns. You look in his closet, that's it.
Fair enough.
But I'm sorry, everybody, for apparently repeating that question. But I always think it's interesting to at least get a take on John Hammond. So thank you, Rowan, for multiple months of coverage here. So let's move on. We have our final one from another contributor here. Arjun Boss was not able to make it today, so let's hear what he has to say.
Hello to everyone. Arjan here.
Hey.
I just called in to say congratulations, Brett, on making it to this great milestone of the 200th episode of the Jurassic Park podcast. Thank you for having me as a contributor and being a part of it. Since I couldn't be here today to join you, I wanted to wish you a lot of fun, and I'll look forward to listening to you guys. Okay, bye.
There we go. That's it.
That was painless.
Yeah.
Easy question to end on.
Easy one. Yes. That was fantastic. And I don't know, the mailbag is just so much fun to me. I love recording this each and every month. It's just full of the best people out there reaching out and having some serious comments and questions and concerns. And it's so much fun. Jen, I hope you love doing this as well each and every month.
I really do. I remember how this came about. I remember how we were just trying to figure out segments, and then once in a while people started giving you so many comments and you just kept getting more popular and people were sending you questions, and you were like, you know what? Maybe we should just start answering questions. And then it just turned into only questions, and now it turns into 3 hours of just questions. And I love every minute of all of it. And when you were on your hiatus, I missed the mailbag. I know you probably needed that time off for sure. And I think I was bugging you a little bit, oh, when are we coming back this month? Just wondering, because I was missing it. Because you're my friend, and you guys are my friends, and I miss talking to my friends most of all. So whenever it came back, I was really excited. And I can't wait for next month and the month after that. I really love doing this.
Yeah. That is the best thing. It gives us some time to chat and to catch up each and every month, and I just love it. And hearing from all these people is so much fun. And some of these people have way better thoughts and concerns than I could ever think of. So it makes us keep our brains alive as far as Jurassic concerned, and think about all these new topics and ideas and things that I would never come up with. So thank you so much to everybody out there. 200 episodes and maybe 200 more mailbags is in the cards here. I don't know, but I don't know. That's a lot. So yeah, let's head out here and say goodbye. So thank you, Jen.
Thanks.
thank you guys so much for listening to the 200th episode of the Jurassic Park Podcast. Man, we're in the outro. This is it. It happened. And Jen, I got to thank you, like I just said, for joining me each and every month here in the mailbag, and also for everybody else that joined me here today in this epic, crazy, like I can't believe it's kind of worked out here for the most part, aside from some little minor details. But man, this was fun. And I know a lot of you have moved on from the voice chat, but we still have Aaron here. We still have AJ. We have Jay, Jen, and Steve. So thank you guys so much for joining me today. It's been awesome.
You hit record, right?
Oh no, did I? I hope so.
That's 3 hours we'll never get back in that case.
Yeah. You know what? I'm not even going to apologize. I know a lot of people leave reviews and tell us, hey, you always talk about how the episodes are too long. Well, you guys earned it today, a 3-hour episode. Man, it's been one heck of a ride, and 200 episodes is awesome. So thank you guys for joining me. Thank you to everybody else that was here. Who else was here today? Tal was here, James, Tom. Do we miss anybody else? I think that's it. But yeah, and to all the callers out there, like I said, everybody who called in, you guys are very awesome. And I don't think this show would be possible without everybody. And so many people bring up community and how awesome it is. So yeah, so thank you. It means a lot. 200 episodes is fun. And man, it got here quick. It really did. So thank you guys for joining me. And we'll do it again for episode number 300.
All right.
Yes. Sounds good to me.
Awesome. Well, just in case you want to be a part of the next Jurassic Mailbag, you can call our voicemail line at 732-825-7763. And while I'm here, I went to where did I go the other day? I went somewhere, and the person asked for my phone number, and I said 732-825, and I'm like, nope, that's not it. That's not my phone number. That's my podcast phone number. So please call that number if you want to be a part of the Jurassic Mailbag. Not if like you're a doctor or whoever I was telling it to follow up with me. But email us your audio files or questions to JurassicParkPod@gmail.com, or you could head to our contact page at JurassicParkPodcast.com to fill out our contact form. Now, as always, each and every week, I try to go through a review or several here, and you guys come through. You guys come through over on Apple Podcasts. You leave us reviews, 5-star reviews, and you always write some funny things or some good things in there. And I like reading them. This is like something new since the hiatus, kind of coming back here and going over these reviews. So this one comes from Decaf, apparently on Apple Podcasts, and this is a pretty new one actually from July. And the title is Best Jurassic Podcast Out There. Wow. And it also says, I have to say, this is probably the best Jurassic podcast out there. I've been listening for, I don't even know. Probably from the beginning or close to it. Keep up the good work, guys. You all do an amazing job. Wow. Best Jurassic podcast out there. You know, I very much appreciate it. I'm not much into like trying to compare podcasts and who's doing what, but I appreciate all the kind words. I think everybody's got some great podcasts out there, so it's awesome to hear from everybody. But yeah, I think you all are awesome for leaving these reviews. It really means a lot to hear you say like, I've done an amazing job, or the team has done an amazing job, and to hear people. I know I cringe about it each time somebody says that they've been listening from the beginning, but it feels good deep down inside that people are actually taking some time. And I always find it interesting. Somebody recently reached out and said, I did it. I finished from the beginning and I listened to over 200 hours of your voice. And I'm like, why would you do that? But I do appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much. So yeah, that's it. We're going to highlight only that one review here today. And as always, I like to kind of round out the episode by saying, I want everybody out there to take a second to think about what you want to do, what you want to hear, and start it. Do it. Because the only reason I'm here talking right now, rambling with you guys, is the fact that I started this podcast and I had we had there was 9 or 10 people in here today, all because of I decided to hit record and start this community and start this podcast and give the Jurassic fans an outlet to something that they'd hopefully want to hear. And I think it's done pretty well. So that's my advice for you guys today, is just to do that one thing. I know sometimes it's hard to get started and to take a second to, hit record or to write that thing down or do whatever you want, or to have the courage to reach out with an email or something like that. But do it, start it, and I don't think you'll regret it. Of course, there's some struggles and stuff along the way. This isn't easy. 200 episodes is certainly not easy. I've gotten 4 hours of sleep most Sunday nights, but it's been well worth it, I think. It's been an awesome ride, and I don't think you'll regret hitting the record button or doing that thing and actually starting it. So, yeah. Thank you, guys, and I'm going to go ahead and just read the outro myself. I don't have any snazzy music for you or anything, so we're going to stick with this Fallen Kingdom tune. So please find us on Twitter at Jurassic Park Pod, myself at Brad Jost, also on Facebook and Instagram at Jurassic Park Podcast. And for everybody that was here today, I'm sorry I didn't let you read off your handles or wherever we can find you. Please, everybody, take a second to go to our show notes and find out where everybody is. And of course, visit our team page over on our website to see everybody's links, everybody's content that they've created, everything they've been a part of over on our website. So, of course, you can join the Facebook group. We have a Facebook group over on Facebook. Yeah, the Jurassic Park Podcast Facebook group. Just search for it. Hit those 2 questions. Make sure to answer those so we can accept you into the group. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, YouTube, our website, or wherever else podcasts are found. So please be sure to subscribe. Also, don't miss our toy hunts and reviews, our in-depth bonus content, live streams, gameplay, event and theme park coverage, and so much more over on our YouTube channel. If you haven't already, please go ahead and leave us that 5-star review over on Apple Podcasts, and we will go ahead and read, whatever review you leave, whether it's funny or serious. I'll go ahead and read that at the end of every episode, so please be sure to spare no expense. Don't miss us on the web at JurassicParkPodcast.com, where you'll find today's episode show notes, wonderful articles, bios from our contributors, and so much more. If you want to, you can get a hold of us over on our contact form, like I said before, on our website, or email us at JurassicParkPodcast.com. That didn't make any sense. At JurassicParkPod@gmail.com. And this is what you get when I try to do things live. Is I've actually done it pretty well without messing up. So that's one for you right there. But we're always looking for new segments, contributors, mailbag submissions, or anybody who just wants to say hello. So feel free to call our voicemail line at any time to leave us a message. That number is 732-825-7763. Thank you guys so much for listening to the 200th episode of the podcast, and enjoy.
Five minutes. Drop what you're doing and leave now.